It's the 14th.
Get your tickets at atvclassic.com.
Dougie told me he been on some positive. Yeah. Lately, I just want to show up and body some.
The Jason Gregor Show.
Go back to work on 2nd and 7. Paterno's with the pressure on, throws it up for Curly Gittens. Junior out of the air. And into the Ottawa sky, Curly Gittens Jr.
On Sports 1440.
Paterno, first and goal. Inside handoff, Justin. And the Elks extend their lead with 8 minutes remaining in the ballgame.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
His 49th home run. Storybook season by Cameron. He has done it. The most home runs all time in a single season by a major league catcher. Once in a lifetime kind of stuff from Cameron.
After 2 o'clock, good afternoon. Thank you for tuning into the Jason Gregor Show here on Sports 1440. Jason Gregor Show brought to you by PlayAlberta.ca. This week, lots going on. Tomorrow, Lotto Max, an estimated $25 million. Check it out, PlayAlberta.ca. Use code word Gregor50 with your deposit and get a $50 free bet. Reminder, use your game sense. Connor Halley, Wanye Gretz, Declan Kruger, and Josh Fenwick with you here from the Stingray Studios in West Edmonton Mall. Lots to get to on the show today. Of course, we'll talk some CFL, some NFL, some hockey. Kevin Woodley will be by from In Goal Magazine. We've got Alan Seslowski joining us from RotoWire Fantasy. Drafts, maybe they've happened already. Maybe they're coming up this week. We'll dive into that with Alan. We'll talk to Rob Collins from Kansas City, talk about the Chiefs and what they have done to try to get back to the Super Bowl and win it again after their fall to the Eagles in February. Dave Naylor is going to be by. We'll talk about the Edmonton Elks winning their third straight game on Friday night over the Ottawa Red Blacks. Special teams touchdown, Javon Leake, as predicted by someone in the studio right now. And Mark Spectre will be by as well. So lots to get to. Of course, you can always text us 1-833-401-1440. That is the text line. And it should be a good show today. We got Wanye Gretz here. Wanye, welcome back to the studio. You had Friday off, but you're back.
Friday off. What a weekend. Good times. These Elks.
Elks.
Elks are plural. Yeah, well, they're on fire.
They're playing good football right now, and it is like it's easy to just say, well, they put in Cody Fajardo and things have turned around, and some people will probably go that route. I think they were getting there, and I think Fajardo's helped. Like, I think the defense, steadily improving. Obviously, getting a few more sustained drives, getting them get their rest a little bit more. Fajardo's been fantastic. He was running the ball great on Friday night. You got the special teams making plays, 3 sacks, multi-game sack for Noah Taylor. Punt return, yeah.
Come on now.
Punt block, punt return. I think this is like going to be the trademark of a Mark Killam team. You start having that success on special teams, goes a long way. And good for them. Now, sitting 5th in the West. Nothing changes there. Mm-hmm. But the BC Lions, with a game in hand, have 1 more win. You've got the Winnipeg Blue Bombers, 2 more wins. The Stamps, who the Elks play 2 games in a row, 3 more wins. So you can do the math. If the Edmonton Elks can handle their business, win, 1 of 2, 2 of 2 against the Stamps would be even better, but tough. All of a sudden, you can leapfrog the BC Lions and maybe, just maybe, jump into that crossover spot where you might have to go into Hamilton or Montreal and play in the playoffs. So it's not out of the picture. The CFL is crazy. Many, many crazier things have happened in the past, but we just got to wait and see what happens. But for the Edmonton Elks, this is really good. Encouraging news. And hey, if they can have a good game, find a way to win, keep it close, then all of a sudden, next Saturday, we got a home game in Edmonton. Fall. Perfect weather for football. Hopefully the people get out.
I think when you're trying to turn a franchise around and like completely rebuild your program, it's not going to happen overnight.
No.
It's like trying to move a cruise ship, right? You can't just turn it on a dime. The vibes seem to be high for a 5th place team in the West. Like the team seems to be a little bit more cohesive, a little bit more excitement on the sidelines during big plays.
Yeah.
Right. And I think if the mission to like fix the Elks, quote unquote, is probably what, a 3 or 4 year thing
I mean, I think to totally turn it around, yeah, you'd probably have
Right.
to go with that.
on and off the field, and they're in year 2.
Yeah.
I think it's going well.
And I mean, you could say they're in year 1 because this is the whole new regime, right? Mark
That's
Gillen
fair.
this year. They've gone through this before. Last year, we did see them win 4 out of 5 games.
Mhm.
They were playing good ball, but it was just too little too late. And that very well could be the case this year. But at least you're establishing that culture. And if you can get a few good players re-signed, Justin Rankin, I would assume there's going to be some talks because, again, a very good game. He had 14 carries. Now, granted, 2.6 yards per carry, only 36 yards on the ground. Not the biggest output when it comes to running the football and success, but through the passing game, 5 catches for 58 yards. And just, we talked about it, just keeping the opposing defense honest, just the threat of the run game. When you don't do it, they don't worry about it, but continually doing it, making sure that Rankin could do it. And, you know, he's the guy, if he breaks one tackle, he could be gone. So you have to respect it. I think that's going to go a long way for this team as well. And turning around slowly, we've discussed it. I mean, Wanye, if you're, then it doesn't matter if it's sports or business. If you keep telling me to keep doing this sort of thing, and then there's no, you know, you're not getting into the black, right? It's just not, there's not any reason to show that you're having success and wins in football. Eventually that message is going to fall on deaf ears. But like, you see wins and it's like, okay, what they're telling us is working. Like we're winning football games now, and it's not against the top opponents in the West, but you're winning football games you weren't winning in the past. And I think that's a encouraging thing for not only the players, but fans, management. Everyone's got to be thinking, okay, this is why we brought in these guys. We're going to be patient with them. It's turning around and hopefully continues just year after year.
Is this Fajardo's team now, or do you think Trey Ford is still on the sidelines and it's his squad?
I don't think it's Trey Ford's team anymore. I think
Really?
Cody Fajardo, like even the games they lost, they were closer. And it's just not having to rely. We said it a bunch of times. It's not relying on that big play, right? It's we can dink and dunk you if we have to. Fajardo's going to make the right decisions, and it's a cold business. It's results driven, and you just weren't getting the wins with Trey Ford. And you know, I will never change my opinion that the organization in the last 5 years, the way he was handled was just like it wasn't great. You know, in and out of the lineup. I wish he could have been given an opportunity to play. And if there was no signs of improvement, then at least you know, right? You move on, you go in a different direction. But McLeod Bethel-Thompson was in and out of the lineup. Even games when he looked good, he was coming out. Now for Trey Ford, the wins weren't there. Maybe it was a tough situation, right? Kind of throwing him to the Bulls. Like the defense is going to take time. The defense wasn't helping him. The quarterback was probably irrelevant in the first few games because defensively they couldn't stop a nosebleed. Like it just was not good. But I think you have to roll with Cody Fajardo. And that's what, when we talked about them making the coaching decision, that's was one of the things I said, or the quarterback decision. Whoever it is, he has to be the guy going forward. It can't be a couple losses and you take him out. I think that's just not fair to the rest of the team.
Who was at the helm last year for the 4 out of 5 wins?
At quarterback?
Yeah,
It was Trey Ford.
it was.
Yeah, that was when Jarius Jackson took over, I believe. They moved on from Chris Jones and did that.
How would you compare and contrast that stretch of football and this stretch of football, like between the two teams?
Oh man, I need a time machine to go back to that one.
Yeah,
They're kind of playing a fun brand of football in that stretch. It's just the team's so different, right? Like the defensive makeup of this team is totally different from what it was last year. I think Ford was playing good ball. I'd have to go back and look at the game logs for sure. But that's when they really started to run the football. And like the offensive line, the cohesiveness of that group really started to show last year and how good they could be. They were running the football. Trey Ford was playing good ball, but it didn't continue on that progression that they would have hoped, I think, over the offseason. So yeah, I don't know. I mean,
it doesn't seem nearly as dire and dark as it was at the start of the season or in June.
And like, but I always say, like, I understand fans' frustration because it's happened for so long, right? Go back to like the decade of darkness.
Oh boy.
It's like you would change coaches and it might look a little like we have a reason for optimism, and then it wouldn't work out. And then you change coaches and maybe this is the one and it wouldn't work out. We got McDavid, one playoff, but then it didn't go smoothly. It's just like there can finally be reason for optimism, but in that fan's mind, you remember the last 5, 6, 7 years where it just hasn't worked out. So frustration, like the patience might not be there if it was the first time you went through it, if that makes sense.
Totally makes sense. As a new member of Elks Nation, excited about Elks Nation, I think that this is the path you're going to have to be on if you're going to get back to greatness. It's not going to happen overnight, right? And you're not going to get a magic player that comes. Shedeur Sanders, Shedeur Sanders, shout out to the Argos, thinking ahead.
Yep.
You need to make a bunch of incremental improvements to the team. And I think that they're doing the things they need to do to turn things around.
And I think like if you just were to think about football in terms and don't even worry about borders, NFL, CFL, long-standing terrible team in football was the Detroit Lions, right? Like forever. They just were not good. And it didn't happen overnight. Dan Campbell went in there. They were 3-13 and won. They tied a game. The next year, 9-8, 12-5, 15-2. But they built that culture. So the guys they drafted were like, okay, we're going to be part of the crew to turn it around, which you hope the Elks have. I think there might be a little more roster turnover in the CFL. Guys, when they do have success, maybe they want to get a chance to go play down south and things of that sort. But whoever you have in the room, I think has to buy into the new culture of the team. Like, it doesn't matter who it is. Next man up mentality. Someone goes down, I get my opportunity. I've got to thrive. And if it took the Lions 4 years to really turn it around, and it could happen a little quicker in the CFL, possibly, but I think to build that up, it does take time. And it's encouraging to see it. Similar to last year with this year team, I kind of thought like it's going to take time. When they figure it out, though, I think they'll be competitive. If you want to be maybe the more pessimistic look at it, like, okay, well, who have they beat? It hasn't been the Riders, right? It hasn't been the Stampeders. The Lions beat them twice. Like, they haven't handled their business in the West. If CFL realignment could happen and the Edmonton Elks could be an Eastern Conference team, things would be a lot easier.
Are you suggesting moving the city?
Maybe just I think you have
a few hundred kilometers east.
Just divide that line all awkwardly,
That's worth the effort.
But that might be a little bit of an easier path. But the West is just so strong right now. So they're playing good. They're doing the right things, but got to keep it going. Got to do it against the teams in your division. And, it's a huge 2-game set against the Stampeders coming up on Labor Day.
My reply to the pessimist would be like, you know what you have to do before you win big games? Win against bad teams.
Yeah.
And then you build momentum. Is this the most important Labor Day Classics in quite some time?
Yeah, I would say so.
Yeah.
I mean, last year we probably with the 2 wins would have thought, okay, that was massive. That was big. But I would say for this group of guys, it's a big one. I mean, in the last few years, it hasn't even mattered. So now that these games could make a difference in the standings and, launch you into a playoff spot or contention, then it is very big.
So with the exception of Cody Fajardo, who is driving the better play? Like, who are the Elks that are standing out in the last 3 games you can point to and be like, these are the guys?
Well, Noah Taylor had 2 sacks last game and a blocked punt. Pretty good performance.
That's huge.
I think he was on with Kevin Karras this morning. It was a really good interview. If you want to go check that out, would really recommend it. I think, you got to give some love to Rankin. And honestly, I think the coaching staff deserves a ton of credit. The players keeping them into it. They could have kind of been like, this sucks. This is just, let's try to put good film out there and, maybe I can sign with another team next year. But I think as a unit, they've kind of held it together. And I think Coach Masimic on the offensive side of the football, the last couple games running the football a little more deserves credit. I think JC Sherritt is his first time being a defensive coordinator, right? Takes time. I think he's really grown into it on the back end. Aaron Grimes. So I think I don't know if it's just one player. I think it's kind of everyone is just, they're all moving in the right direction. They're all paddling.
Part of being part of Elks Nation and getting back into it is like knowing who's hot. Right? Like, who are we cheering for? Who are these standout players out there? It struck me when Dan Campbell became the coach of the Lions and he started doing those press conferences that he was the first guy in the room to believe in the Lions. Is that a fair statement?
Oh, yeah.
Based on nothing. Based on him showing up. He's like, did you hear? We're great. Do you see similar levels of leadership in the room from the coaching staff?
I think so.
Yeah.
And, one of the things when Coach Killam was hired that we heard from former players, like so many players were happy for him. Guys around the league, like, finally, he's getting his opportunity to coach. Should have happened a while ago. His preparation. So I think, putting it all together. When you're a head coach, you have so much more to deal with than being a coordinator, right? Yeah. Like, you're dealing with every little problem of the team. So I think there might have been a little bit of a learning period. And we'll have to have him on, maybe midway through the season, at the end of the season, to just be like, how much did you learn as a head coach? Like, what surprised you? Because I bet, you get probably some pretty good answers.
Totally.
But yeah, I think for him, that's probably where it starts. We got to believe in the head coach. Ed Hervey's a guy that believes in his team. Obviously, Chris Morris, top to bottom, I think there's been a lot of good changes. with the organization. Elks Oil texting in 1-833-441-1440. It is the Jason Gregor Show, brought to you by PlayAlberta.ca here on Sports 1440. Also Oilers Nation, Facebook, YouTube, and X. Guys, Trey Ford had one good game this year, and then the home BC game, he was awful. They had to switch to Cody. I think Trey will only play if Cody gets hurt. He had to perform, and he didn't. And Elks Oil, I would agree with you. Like, to me, there's no reason right now to make a change. And even if they lose some games, I think you still have to go with Cody Fajardo. You owe it to the rest of the team to roll with that quarterback. Now, if we do get to a point when, maybe there's 2 or 3 games left in the season and playoffs aren't in the picture, maybe you go back to Trey Ford and see what happens there. But Cody Fajardo, I think 1-year deal. I mean, if it's me, I'm looking to bring him back next year. Like he's done enough. I mean, great guy. When he's been on our station, like, you believe in him. He's like the kind of guy like you want to play with, right? He gives you that vibe. Like, yeah, like everything he says just sounds really. He sounds like a leader. So yeah, I think Elks Oil, that's a good point about that one for sure. We are going to talk some football on the show. We're going to go down to Kansas City, talk some Chiefs with Rob Collins. That's an interesting team this year. I saw ESPN had their poll for their top 100 players and had Patrick Mahomes at number 1. And if you look at his statistic last year, not his best, but when the games are on the line, I guess I could listen to the argument. I would think there's probably a few guys who might have been better picks for number 1, and I'd love to hear your feedback, the listener, 1-833-441-1440. If you had to say who is the number 1 player in the NFL right now, who would it be? Because Josh Allen was your MVP. Saquon Barkley was Offensive Player of the Year. Defensively, Patrick Surtain, the second with the Broncos, was Defensive Player of the Year. Pretty damn good. There's always going to be a quarterback bias, I would say, but Patrick Mahomes, number 1 player in the league per ESPN's player. I think it's just their writer poll. A little bit surprising.
I saw a stat about Andy Reid today, and I had to go look it up to make sure this wasn't a lie. 171 wins and 10 losses as the coach of Kansas City.
That sounds ridiculous.
It is ridiculous, man. And like, again, coaching, right? Like the guy on the sidelines driving things. Just so you don't think I'm full of.
Oh, I believe
I had
it.
to look it up. I thought that's an insane record. I can't see Pat Mahomes being the best player in the league, though.
It's it's kind of like weeks 1 through 15, maybe not, and then down the stretch when it matters,
locks in.
He locks in. I mean, they've been to 3 straight Super Bowls, 1, 2 out of 3. Ran into a buzzsaw of a team in the Philadelphia Eagles, but a really good quarterback. Deanocracy's got to be Lamar. Now, Dean is a Ravens fan. I will expose him on this. But he says, don't even think it's close. Look at the years or the stats from last year. And that, I mean, the Chiefs built up a really good team. It's not just Patrick Mahomes. I remember when he was drafted, and I don't know if people will remember, but I said, I think this guy's going to win them games and he's going to lose them games, because I thought maybe he's a little reckless. He's won them way more games. But his turnovers have gone up the last couple of years, especially to start the season last year. Like, he was not necessarily doing a great job. But if you go back to last year, after they lost to the Bills, where he threw 3 touchdowns, 2 interceptions, 3 touchdowns, no picks, 1 touchdown, 1 touchdown, 2 touchdowns, 1 touchdown, 3 touchdowns. All those games, no more turnovers. Like, he cleaned that up. Playoffs, 1 touchdown, no interceptions against Houston. Against the Bills, 1 touchdown, no interceptions. And the turnover problems didn't creep back into his game until the Super Bowl. So I think he can be really good, but to start the year last year, and this is what people will remember, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 games straight, an interception. That's 9 picks in 7 games for him. So there was maybe it was trying to force the ball a little bit, relying on the gunslinger mentality. But down the stretch, he really cleaned up his game, and he probably doesn't care about being number 1. He probably doesn't care about his statistics. But I would say that if you told me it, I could buy into it because the results have been there for his team.
You want to talk about a quarterback that's changing the game? Shedeur Sanders, $250 million of apparel sales in Cleveland. Let me break down how that goes. He gets 14 of that. The Browns get 50. The NFL receives 37.5. The NFLPA gets $5 million, and the retailers make 150. That is mind blowing. You think about that. You think about Bronny James jersey sales in LA. Bring in these Nepo babies. They pay for themselves.
Yeah, I mean, that's crazy to me. I've bought some silly jerseys in my time.
There's $250 million of Shedeur Sanders jerseys running around, brand new. What reckless things will Browns fans get up to in those
Browns
jerseys?
fans. I bet a lot of Colorado football fans, the Bisons,
Totally buying it.
Buffaloes, they would have bought a lot.
Yep.
Because they love the guy. It's interesting. The Bronny one was weird to me.
I've got a Bronny James jersey. You know how I do.
You should be wearing it.
Well, not in the off season. I'd look silly.
A real fan. But it is interesting because Bronny with all his apparel, they made the money back.
Oh,
right?
easily.
The Browns as a 5th round pick, Shedeur is not getting a huge deal, but people want the jersey. The guy is polarizing. I saw people thinking that the coach sabotaged him in their final preseason game because he was playing with 3rd string linemen. Granted, he is their 4th string quarterback, but people will go to battle online to say he's being treated unfairly. The Browns are going to keep 4 quarterbacks.
How crazy is this?
In itself is it. Some teams keep 2. I mean, we'll see how long it lasts. I don't see why they're keeping Kenny Pickett. If something happens with Joe Flacco, you're not going to be winning football games anyways. Why not just throw in one of your rookies? I don't see why Kenny Pickett's there, to be honest with you, unless they have this game plan of not playing their rookies until week 13, 14, 15. But you can't risk the other 2 on your practice roster. Dylan Gabriel or Shedeur Sanders will get claimed by another team.
Maybe they're doing a Optimus Prime strategy where they have 4 quarterbacks that are 2 out of 10. So they just assemble them into a mega quarterback, and that's a 9 out of 10.
I've often thought if you could do that with 2 NFL teams, 2 bad ones, you could make a really good one. Quarterback, unfortunately, not going to be that way. And then, when you get to your game day roster, I assume maybe even 2 of them will be not dressed. It's interesting. I don't know.
So
it's very Browns.
The most Browns thing to do would be to cut Shedeur, and then he goes on to be a Hall of Famer.
Yeah. I mean, that's what it not a Hall of Famer, but Baker Mayfield, they moved on from, and now he's probably going to lead the Bucs back to the playoffs. Easier division, though. Easier division. It is the Jason Gregor Show here on Sports 1440. Connor Halley, Wanye Gretz, we got Declan Kruger and Josh Fenwick with you here today. We're going to be going all around the sporting world, but coming up next, we'll talk some NHL goaltending with Kevin Woodley, get his thoughts on the American camp for the Olympic Games coming up and the goaltenders that could be representing the USA as well. It is the Jason Gregor Show, brought to you by playalberta.ca.
Hey, sports fans, we've got a clear choice for you. At Crystal Glass, we provide customers with the perfect glass for any job. From home to auto and even commercial, installation or repairs, we're your team. Call 310-GLASS or visit crystalglass.ca. Crystal Glass.
Scott McGilvery here, HGTV host and renovation expert. The one upgrade I know homeowners will love, better, fresher Culligan water straight from the tap. Culligan's Aquasential reverse osmosis filtration system takes your water to the next level. With up to 7 stages of filtration and 14 filter options, they're certified to reduce over 90 contaminants. Your tap water is about to get a major upgrade. Safer water that tastes great. Get started with a free in-home water test at Culligan.com. Culligan, water you love.
Wow, get ready for a silly hockey fan. Your partner in power just skated onto the ice.
EWEL.ca, the new e-commerce website for electrical wholesalers Edmonton, is ready for the power play 24/7, 365.
UL skates to where the puck will be in 5 years. Now that's forward thinking.
Killer selection, slamming products from the best brands, and legendary service.
Don't sit on the bench. Get your account today at EWEL.ca and win that project.
Plug into your partner in power. Get an EWEL.ca account today.
Some people wake up and get dressed for work in a suit and tie or a nice dress. At GS Construction, we're less fashion forward and more putting our best foot forward. We wear hard hats and steel toe boots, and most importantly, we wear 50 years of experience with pride. It's not glamorous, it's definitely not easy, but it matters. We do it well. So if you'd like to be part of something where your work matters, GS Construction is hiring. Just remember, when you come for an interview, ditch the tie. See more at gsconstruction.ca.
Bringing every project to life requires the right team. By joining the Japa Machinery Group service or sales teams, you can be part of setting a new industry standard. Celebrating a legacy of excellence with Japa. Learn more at japamachinery.com.
At On the Rocks, the party never stops.
Check it out.
Mondays, bingo tunes.
Tuesdays, tacos and tequila.
Wednesdays, it's wings and karaoke.
Shake what your mama gave you with salsa lessons on Thursdays and the best Latin DJs.
Plus, live music every Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, along with DJ Kenny K.
Hold on, let's not forget
$5 happy hour, 7 days a week.
Your bar, your party. You're on the rocks.
On the rocks.
Jasper Ave and 118th.
Mr. Rooter connects with Gen Z.
I have 84 followers, as my niece would say. Slay.
No, that's cringe.
How do I get more?
You're a plumber. Make a skibbity toilet joke.
A skibbity what now?
Or make a fashion calendar full of super hot plumbers, plumbers with drip.
Young lady, I'd appreciate it if you'd stop acting so thirsty around my employees.
Burn, Uncle Mr. Rooter.
Slay.
For a plumber who cooks, call Mr. Rooter. You've got a go-to coffee spot, a trusted barber, even a lucky game day jersey. But when it's about looking your absolute best, there's only one name you need. Mr. Dirk. Family run since 1939. We're experts in crafting impeccable tailor-made suits and offering a wide variety of everyday styles. Pair that with personalized one-on-one fittings and the convenience of on-site tailoring. Mr. Dirk elevates your style game. Visit our Edmonton store or explore MrDirk.com. Score big on style with Mr. Dirk.
Portions of this hour brought to you by Crystal Glass, your clear choice for residential windows, locally manufactured and installed. Crystal Glass provides a beautiful product and incredible customer services for all your residential needs. Call 310 Glass or visit crystalglass.ca for a quote.
Look good, feel good, play good. It's the Jason Gregor Show. Thanks for listening to Sports 1440.
Presented by playalberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
Here on Sports 1440, also streaming on Oilers Nation Facebook, YouTube, and X. Shout out to everybody watching there. Hit the like button. See Lance chopping it up with I want to say it's Josh. We're handling the Oilers Nation side of things. So everybody watching on Oilers Nation, YouTube, Facebook, hit that like button. We do appreciate it. If you're watching elsewhere, Instagram, X, I don't know. I think you can hit emojis and stuff like that. So do that. And if you're listening online or on the AM dial, thank you. You can't do anything else. You've done enough. So we do appreciate it. Connor Halley, Wanye Gretz, Declan Kruger, and Josh Fenwick with you. The Jason Gregor Show brought to you by playalberta.ca. Lots to get to on the show today. But right now, we'll start with a little hockey talk as we go around the NHL, brought to you by McDonald's. Cool down with $2 sundaes and snack size shakes, or check out the McDonald's app for an exclusive $1 cone deal. Taxes extra. Prices exclude delivery. We bring in Kevin Woodley from In Goal Magazine and NHL.com. Kevin, good afternoon. How are you doing today?
I'm good. Not as good as I was last week. We're back home from Hawaii as of the very wee hours overnight last night. So it's a little cooler, but it was a nice break. And I've shed all my tears as we said goodbye to my daughter yesterday and left her behind at school. And now I'm ready. I got my game face on for you guys now today.
Now, I guess that's tough, and that's going to be tough. But when's the next vacation plan to go visit her? I mean, is this going to be a monthly thing? I don't think anybody would blame you if you did.
Yeah, no, schedule will prohibit me once the season starts. But I have a funny feeling that my wife is going to become a frequent flyer because, it's our youngest, and you got to go see her. But also, B, it's Hawaii, and we've made it a place that we visit frequently anyways. Blessed to have been able to do that. We got married there, but never been to the Big Island before. And I got to say, you fall into your little habits of just going places that you're familiar with. Man, probably wouldn't have visited to the degree we did if not for my daughter going to school there. And it's spectacular. Saw stingrays, dolphins, sea turtles, all the usual. Just, it was incredible. I love to be in the ocean and free diving and snorkeling, and it was as good as anything I've seen. So it was a fantastic week.
I was watching Stanford and Hawaii football over the weekend and thought of you. I was like, oh, What a
big late field goal that was all over the news there. I wasn't watching. I was busy outside, but that was a big deal there for sure.
Yeah, it was, and they just show the shots of the area, and I'm like, what a spot to live. It'd be awesome. But let's talk some hockey here. Get back on track now. We're going to talk about the U.S. men's Olympic orientation camp and the goaltending there. But for Canada, Jordan Binnington, Aiden Hill, Sam Montembeault, the only 3 invited, but an opportunity during the season for maybe some other guys to earn their spot onto the roster. You think?
Yeah, it sure sounds like it. You see the comments from Doug Armstrong, the St. Louis Blues and general manager of that Canadian team. It's not a closed door. And so I am a little surprised that they didn't maybe invite more guys. I guess I can see the flip side of it. Who would that be? How deep do you go on that list? Do you upset the apple cart? Is the easiest answer just to bring the incumbents? I guess so. And yet, clearly, they went well beyond the list of guys that was there for forwards and defensemen. So a little bit surprised they didn't add, say, a Mackenzie Blackwood or a Logan Thompson, as good as his year was last year. But like I said, to his credit, Doug Armstrong said that competition is still open. And I would certainly think, because as I've said to you before and on the show before, Logan Thompson's numbers, as much as they jumped right off the page last year in Washington, were always really good in Vegas. Like the adjusted numbers in small samples when healthy were always impressive, which is why the Washington bet made a lot of sense. If he were to have another start to the season, first half of the season, like he did last year, wins around in the playoffs, and not get an invite this time around, I think you'd have a lot of eyebrows raised. And yet, as I said last year, when he didn't get tagged to be a part of the tandem at the Four Nations, there are some questions about the fact that there are 2 former Vegas head coaches on that Canada staff, and what was their experience like with Logan Thompson as their goaltender in Vegas in terms of being healthy and not being able to, but just not taking that step into the number 1 job like he has in Washington. And is there any chance that that's being held against him? So that will be one to follow this year. If he has a season like he did last year and they still leave him off, that's a question that's going to be pretty hard for them not to have an answer to. And you hear things behind the scenes about what that answer might be. Let's see if that becomes a topic again.
Do you think there's any chance, when the games really start to matter, medal rounds, semifinals, that sort of thing, that Jordan Binnington isn't the guy, just based on what he's done in the big moments, not only for his team in St. Louis winning the cup, but what we saw in the Four Nation final overtime? Like, he was unbelievable.
Yeah, he was spectacular, and that's what he gives you, right? Like, he gives you that ability to make that dynamic, game-changing save. And when you look at the list of Canadian goaltenders, Logan Thompson's got a lot of that too. It's not always pretty. From a technical standpoint, it might not be how you would coach it, but there's a reactive element to his game that is, it is really, really special. Like he's got a patience and the way he waits on shooters and the active hands. Like there's a lot of really good things that he does. There's some other guys on that list, including that were at that camp, that are more, technically efficient, big goaltenders that, I don't want to say they play hit me, but there's a little bit of hit me in their game versus that, that sprawling, dynamic, reactive element we saw from Binnington. I doubt it. I think you're right, Connor. Like, he's probably the guy regardless. That said, like, last year made sense. And the way he played probably makes it hard to remove him. But last year made sense because in the previous 5 years, like his adjusted numbers, save percentage relative to environment in St. Louis, he's like the only Canadian in the top 10 over that 5 years combined. And yet they clearly took a step in the wrong direction this past season. If he were to fall off a cliff a little bit this year, you might start to see some questions around it. I think there's no doubt he's on the team, but if another guy has a really hot start and he can't continue the level of play that he had in those previous 5 years, I think it at least becomes a fair question, but you're probably right. It would probably take the bottom falling out for him not to be the guy for Canada, just because he was so good last year. And like I said, like that's been who he has been for long stretches and most of the seasons with the St. Louis Blues. The problem is they haven't been a very good team defensively, so a lot of people can't see it. You put him behind that Canada team where everything is a little more controlled in front of him, and you get to see what he's capable of again. And don't forget, too, the puck handle, right? Like, he changes opposing teams' forecheck with his ability not to just move the puck and make plays and help you get out of your own end. But to track down pucks behind his net and leave them set up for defensemen wheeling back that most goalies in the league don't even get out of their net to attempt to track down. So that's another underrated part of Jordan Binnington's game. That was a big part of the Four Nations. And, you know, to be honest, I haven't thought of this till I said it out loud, but it becomes a question for coaches and the staff. Will you be able to be that effective? Will it be more or less effective on the big ice at the Olympics in 2026?
Kevin Woodley, Bingo Magazine, and NHL.com, joining us here on the Jason Gregor Show. Connor Halley sitting in. Now, on the flip side, the American roster with a pretty good team here, and the goaltending, obviously, we know how good it can be. Connor Hellebuyck, Jake Ottinger, Jeremy Swayman, and Joey Decord, the 4 invitees to their orientation camp. What do you think about that unit, and is there anyone not selected that could maybe find a spot on the squad when they get going in Italy?
Well, if we've got questions about, you know, Canada not inviting a 4th goalie or even a 5th goalie and giving more guys a chance to sort of get in tune with systems or whatever work they're going to do there. Because remember, none of this is going to be on the ice. I think there are even bigger question marks around the United States because they do add a 4th goalie. It's Joey Decord, who went with them to the World Championships, and maybe this is in part a reward for that decision. But Joey, as good as he's been for the last 2 years for the Seattle Kraken, establishing himself as a number 1 goaltender, you know, there are probably other observers out there that are saying, hey, like, what about Dustin Wolf? What about Joseph Woll? What about Anthony Stolarz? What about Thatcher Demko, who, when healthy, I think has as much upside as anybody on the American list? So I guess that's an example of what the Canadians and some of the questions the Canadians might have had to answer if they brought just one extra guy. Is like, what about this guy? What about my guy? Why is it him? Why isn't it this other guy? But there's certainly a lot of that surrounding the Americans. And that's a pretty good problem to have, right? Like when you're bringing in 4 really solid goalies and you've still got 4 more that you could make a really fair argument deserve to be there. Again, like file that under, like me having to go to Hawaii to drop my kid off at school. That is a first world problem for the Americans when it comes to goaltending. And I know Russia's, I don't believe, in the 2026 Olympics, but that would be the only country in the world that has the similar level of depth in goal and would have had an equally tough decision to make. And let's see what happens here, right? Because as good as Ottinger is, Hellebuyck, obviously the best in the world right now, a couple of Vezinas and the Hart Trophy, Decord, Swayman upside. I still believe that a healthy Demko, and has shown this at the past, when he's on, and it's usually a month at a time, that's consistency has been an issue, but you get him on and he's as good as anyone on that list.
I want to ask you about Connor Ingram. Last week we missed it. It happened on Wednesday, but the NHLPA said that he was clear to return to the NHL after some time with the player assistance program. So honestly, you know, what really matters is that he's good and healthy and good to get back to playing at the NHL level. That's awesome for him. But on an NHL, you know, hockey level, what do you think the future holds for him?
I guess that will all depend on where he's at. Listen, this is a guy who I remember sort of touting going to bat for, or just sort of hyping up as in my mind, the year he joined Arizona, they needed a goaltender. They didn't have much NHL experience, and they were a team that was like actively looking to solve their goaltending depth issue on the waiver market. And he was the guy that I tagged because his underlying numbers in Nashville in a small sample were really impressive. And there was a pedigree there. And I know some people that know him in Kamloops, and they believe there was a lot of upside there from his junior career. And he showed that. The questions I can't answer, and to your point, you're right. Like all that matters is Connor Ingram, the person, because he's a really easy guy to like when you get to talk to him. But if he is feeling good about where he's at and everything around him is in a good spot, like there's no question he has talent. He's a little bit. I talked about Logan Thompson in terms of being, and unorthodox isn't even the right word, but there's like he is not a technician. Doesn't mean his technical game is weak or sloppy or anything like that, but he's a goalie that seems to play a lot of feel, and he has a lot of instinct, and that gives him a lot of upside. And for the first year in Arizona, after they claimed him, you really saw that. Like he took over the number 1 job. But it's been a struggle with consistency since then. And part of that is adjusting. Like when Vejmelka gets going, even before taking that step away from the game last year, and obviously the passing of his mom, which probably was on his mind, obviously would be on anyone's mind and affect your play even before he stepped away. There were still some inconsistencies in his game. And so it's a tough one to answer, because I think if you're an NHL team and you're making that investment, you know how good he can be, you know what the upside is, but you'd have to have a really good feel for where he's at, not just where he's at in terms of feeling good about his game and wanting to be there and being ready to come back to a team environment, but a change that big. Like, hey, he may feel great about going to Utah right now and being back with that group, a group he knows. Would that mean he'd be as comfortable or be able to play to the same level if you now all of a sudden add, hey, a completely new team? And oh, by the way, Stanley Cup aspirations and the pressures that come with it in a Canadian market. Not saying at all that he can't handle it, but you want to know where his mindset is about making a change like that before you were to pursue that, you know, assuming we're talking about the Oilers and their quest to maybe change things up in their mix.
Kevin, fantastic stuff. Love the rundown, and we'll talk again next week.
Perfect. Thanks, Connor. Have a good one.
Thank you. There you go. Kevin Woodley, In Goal Magazine and NHL.com. Join us every Monday here on the Jason Gregor Show. Coming up in the next few weeks here, we'll get his divisional rankings as we've done in the past and get you ready for the season. But coming up next, fantasy football. That's our discussion. Any questions you might have for an expert, 1-833-401-1440. Get those in right now. It is the Jason Gregor Show here on Sports 1440, Oilers Nation, Facebook, and YouTube, brought to you by PlayAlberta.ca.
Listen up, because you're not going to want to miss this. Right now is your chance to get in on Play Alberta's biggest offer ever. For a limited time only, new players can get up to a $1,000 casino bonus when they sign up. There's never been a better time to join the fun. Visit playalberta.ca today to get started with casino, sports, and lottery all in one app. Must be 18 plus to play. Remember, if you gamble, use your game sense.
The Midsummer Sales Event is on now at Volvo Cars Edmonton. The all-new redesigned 2026 XC90 is here. Test drive the ultimate evolution in luxury. Lease or finance a 2025 XC60 from 0.49% and save $5,000. Finance or lease a 2026 XC40 from 2.99%. Come and discover the deals now at Volvo Cars Edmonton. Great vehicles, better service. The Midsummer Sales Event is on now at VolvoCarsEdmonton.com.
Japa Machinery Group knows that XCMG may not roll off the tongue, but Japa's team will help keep your construction jobs rolling on time and on budget with heavy equipment sales and rentals. Visit japamachinery.com to find out more.
I'm Colin Livingston, president of Cantork. Since 2016, we've been at the forefront of hydraulic torque wrenches in Canada. I'm delighted to share our latest venture, in-house production for quicker turnaround, superior quality, and heightened versatility. Experience excellence at Cantork.com.
It's the Bricks mattress sale of your dreams. Score dreamy deals like up to 40% off mattresses and queen beds starting at just $269. Get select king mattresses for the price of a queen and select queen mattresses for the price of a twin. Plus, queen platform bases start at just $299. Score 20% off metal bed frames when you buy any mattress. And get free local delivery when you buy any mattress on your Flexity card. Some exclusions apply. See in-store for details. The Brick, saving you more.
Are you looking for safe and professional travel options? Look no further than Silent Rides, one of Alberta's premier bus charter companies. Whether your group is big or small, Silent Rides has you covered. We offer state-of-the-art motor coaches, first-class service, and affordable rates. Get your quote today. For more information, call 1-877-748-0991 or visit silentrides.ca.
You've got a go-to coffee spot, a trusted barber, even a lucky game day jersey. But when it's about looking your absolute best, there's only one name you need. Mr. Dirk. Family run since 1939, we're experts in crafting impeccable tailor-made suits and offering a wide variety of everyday styles. Pair that with personalized one-on-one fittings and the convenience of on-site tailoring. Mr. Dirk elevates your style game. Visit our Edmonton store or explore MrDirk.com. Score big on style with Mr. Dirk.
Noodle, noodle, nood, noodle, nood, noodle, nood, noodle, noodle, noods. Noodle, noodle, nood, 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 noodle, noodle, nood, noodle, nood, noodle, nood. Noodle, 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 noods. Noodle, 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 noodle.
Throw the load down to Oodle Noodle tonight because dine-in is open.
Hey, Gary, is that your dad?
No, this is Evan, the new sales rep I hired.
Oh.
First impressions matter, but when hair loss takes over, it can feel like you're not being seen for the maverick you truly are. Hi, I'm Dr. Vance Elliott. At Advanced Hair and Skin Surgery, we know that hair loss is more than just a cosmetic issue. It's personal. Let's discuss all the cutting-edge options available so you can make a great impression every time.
Book a free consultation today at drvanceelliott.com.
Johnson, whoa. Proud to be local and family. Oh, downtown experience to speak for the town. With Johnson, whoa. Striving to bring you a comfortable home. With Johnson, whoa.
Portions of this hour brought to you by Cantork. We offer sale, rental, repair, and calibration of hydraulic, pneumatic, and battery-powered torque wrenches, stud tensioners, and flange maintenance equipment. Order today at cantork.com.
Pro sports, local sports, minor leagues, you got it all. It's the Jason Gregor Show on Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
Jason Gregor Show here on Sports 1440. Connor Halley sitting in with Wanye Gretz, Declan Kruger, and Josh Fenwick. The Jason Gregor Show brought to you by PlayAlberta.ca. Tomorrow's Lotto Max an estimated $25 million. The Junior Colson of draft lottery. Joe Carter, Carlos Delgado, Mike Greer. There's probably a few other good ones in there. Use your GameSense, GameSenseAB.ca. Also, if you're making your deposit, you can use code word Gregor50 for a $50 free bet. Right now, we're going to get to our big guest of the day, brought to you by the Hockey Super League, a premier hockey solution with a clear path for long-term development, offering borderless hockey, including provincial and cross-province competition. Visit hockeysuperleague.ca for more information. We are joined by Alan Seslowski, covers fantasy football for RotoWire. Alan, good afternoon. How are you doing today?
So we're doing a football segment sponsored by a hockey development. I like that. The biggest sport in Canada for the biggest sport in the United States. It makes total sense. The synergy is perfect.
Cross promotion. It works perfectly. So Alan, my first question for you. How many leagues are you in this year?
Oh my God. I just got back from my meeting at Drafters Anonymous, and I've got it down from 63 to 41 leagues. And that's all managed leagues. That's not like those are set your lineup. I'm starting to hate fantasy football. If you, you have to come up with a system. So 41 leagues, Dynasty, which is where you keep the players every year, the redraft leagues. I have a drafting problem, but the problem is once you're in season, you're rooting for and against every player.
Yeah.
No. How about you? How many leagues this year?
I'll be doing 3 this year.
Smart.
Yeah. So I've done more, and then I faced that problem where hypothetically Devontae Adams wins me 1 league, but then costs me another league. So I can't get into it. I get too rattled by that. My question for you to start off with then: who is the one player in all your leagues, 40 plus, that you must avoid?
Oh, must avoid. There is no way that I'm taking Puka Nacua. Now, wait a second. What do you mean? Puka Nacua is a good player. He goes in the first round of a lot of football drafts. It's not that I don't think Puka Nacua on the Los Angeles Rams is a great player. It's that he doesn't score touchdowns. And it's funny you brought up Devontae Adams, right? So in the first couple of years of Puka Nacua's career, he scored 3 and 6 touchdowns respectively. Then they bring in Devontae Adams, and he's like the best touchdown scorer when they get in close of all time. Add to that, Matthew Stafford, the quarterback for the Rams, has got a little bit of a rickety back. He's getting up there in age. He's almost 38 years old, and Puka is going to have a lot of yardage. And I would love to get Puka Nacua in the late second or third round. It's a first round pick in a lot of leagues, man. It's a tough one for me. So it's not that he's bad. It's just that I'm not drafting him there.
Now, you talk about lack of touchdowns. One guy we talked about on an earlier show on our station was Trey McBride, whose career high is 3. He had 2 last year. Is this the year he finally breaks out in the red zone?
Well, what's good about Trey McBride is like he was the number. I mean, everyone loves Brock Bowers this year, the tight end on the Raiders. But if you look from like week 5 on, Trey McBride actually outscored Brock Bowers in our PPR leagues, where you get a point for every reception, despite not getting any touchdowns. Now, if we can get that touchdown number up to 6 or 7, it's a smash. So Trey McBride, you smartly pointed out that the touchdown total has been low, but I mean, that has to regress to the positive a little bit. But the other side of that is Kyler Murray. He's like a 5'10" quarterback. It's hard for him to see when they get in close. I like Trey McBride. I'm not worried about the touchdowns because you don't need, like with a typical tight end, Connor, to grab like 10 touchdowns. If he gets 6, you're going to make weight on him. It's going to be valuable.
Yeah, I mean, I had him starting in my league last year. The lack of touchdowns didn't hurt me. He still produced, gave you double-digit points week to week. So I'm with you there. Now, just one of his teammates, Marvin Harrison Jr., what do you think about him going into year number 2?
At least Marvin Harrison Jr., who's in his second year, like you said, is appropriately priced. People were taking him his rookie season at the end of the first round in their fantasy football drafts. It was the most insane thing ever. Just think about this. Malik Neighbors, who now everyone loves Neighbors. He goes in the first round of a lot of fantasy drafts. He was going in the 4th round last year. Marv was never going to make value at that ADP. Now, it was a little concerning, right? Because he didn't have like this blow up splash buzzy season. He had, a very respectable season, but he missed on expectations. I think Marv is going to get a little bit better this year, right? They're going to have to find ways to get the former number 4 overall pick involved a little bit more. But the problem is, when you look at the tape from Marvin Harrison from when he had that amazing career at Ohio State, it's that he really dominated like the lower level opponents. And he had a little bit of trouble when he played some of the big boys, right? So it just like they would throw it up to him, they would bail out in college, and then he would, kind of win. He didn't get a lot of separation. So I think in the 3rd round of your drafts, it's appropriately priced, and he's a good bet for a second-year breakout. But like you just said, man, there's some risk there.
We're talking fantasy football with Alan Soslowski of RotoWire. Now, Alan, one of the guys who I think there probably will be some regression, but how much is Saquon Barkley with the Philadelphia Eagles? And I feel like I'm defending him because I have a lot of people telling me, stay away. What do you think about Saquon year 2 with Philadelphia?
So the case for Saquon is he's probably one of the best running backs of all time, right? Like that should be good enough to make him a defensible number 1 overall pick. You've been playing fantasy a long time. This is the type of a player that should be the number 1 overall pick coming off the season he has. But here, they always say everything's a lie until you say but. After but is when someone's speaking the truth. So, but coming off a season where he had over 480 touches, right? That's a lot for a 28-year-old running back. And the big problem with him is that he did all of his touchdown damage, Connor, from long distance. He had like all of his, I don't think he had a 5 or a 10-yard touchdown. It was mostly from like 20 plus. That is not repeatable. When they get in close, what do? They push it with Jalen Hurts. And the NFL owners try to make that play illegal this year and failed. So that's going to be one of the methods of attack. So with Barkley, he's got to get there with the big splash plays, which he still has in there. I think that he's just a little bit like because of the lack of goal line opportunities that he's probably going to get because of the tush push, he's still a 1st-round pick, and I'm in on him. He falls to like pick 6, pick 7 in a lot of drafts, but in the top 2 or 3, there's probably options where I'm not going to hate on anybody that went that way.
You bring up the tush push, the bane of my existence the last couple of years with a Saquon owner and then also DeAndre Swift the year before. Like, come on, just give it to your running back. Now, let's look at the quarterbacks. We know you talk top tier guys. You're going to have Lamar and Josh Allen, and some people might say Joe Burrow. If you're looking in tier 2 quarterbacks that you can still win with, who comes to mind?
So, like you said, like the smart fantasy football strategy forever was wait on quarterback, right? Because they're all basically the same. But what's happened over the last couple of years is that, that's all good. And, when you check the boxes of your draft, I got Jared Goff in round 14. I got Dak in round 10. And I have all these great position players. And then week 1 happens and like the Jared Goff types get 17 fantasy points. And you go against the Lamar Jackson team who got like a 38. And you're like, oh, why did I do that? Right. So you really have to say to yourself, is it worth reaching up to those guys? And there's an opportunity cost because you end up like kind of hating your team a little bit. So that is a smart question. You're saying if you're going to wait, who are the guys? So I think that I'm not going to be shopping in that mid tier where like Patrick Mahomes, QB6, Baker Mayfield, and Bo Nix go as QB8. Those are very reasonable plays. But again, you're not getting like the extreme value. The idea of waiting on quarterback is to wait even longer. And I think the guy that sticks out, it's ugly. You can't watch the game, but Justin Fields of the New York Jets, he's already had 1,000 yards rushing as a quarterback, right? That's going to get you there. Do you remember Tim Tebow from a bunch of years ago? He was a terrible quarterback, but he got you there through a fantasy football perspective. And Aaron Glenn, the new head coach of the Jets, has really zeroed in on Fields. He said when he was the defensive coordinator of the Detroit Lions, that when Fields played against them, he would tear him up. Justin Fields is a smash. You get him around the 10th quarterback off the board. And if you want to take a couple shots later, Trevor Lawrence is the QB 19, man. Everyone hates Trevor Lawrence except me. Now, here's the case for Trevor Lawrence. Trevor Lawrence is a former number 1 overall pick. He's had a disappointing career to date. But what's happened is Liam Cohen is the new head coach. He came over from the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and he revitalized the career of Baker Mayfield, another former number 1 distressed quarterback. If you believe in Liam Cohen can do it again, and he proactively took this job for Trevor Lawrence, there's a case. If you think that Trevor Lawrence is similar to how we thought of Baker Mayfield last year, Connor, then I think that he's probably in like my QB 10. So if you want to wait a little bit, Justin Fields, if you want to wait a little bit, I really like Trevor Lawrence this season.
All right. And I'm very high on Brian Thomas Jr. So
Yes.
I do like when you pick that one. Now, getting into the later rounds, who are some potential sleepers you might want to throw out there?
Just for like any position. I mean, today, for today, what we found out was that that Joe Mixon, the running back on the Houston Texans, is going to miss at least the first 4 games. We kind of had that feeling anyway, but I mean, now it became official. So if you want to go ugly in the 10th or 12th round, if you need a starting running back, the corpse of Nick Chubb is there. Right? I mean, it's not a pretty. It's not. You're not going to get high fives, Connor, when you pick Nick Chubb in the 10th or 12th round. He's not like a hipster pick where if you pick like a rookie and everyone's like, good pick, right?
Yeah.
We're all been in our drafts and everyone goes, good pick. By the way, that's the kiss of death. You never want anyone to say that. So if you want like to go ugly, it's Nick Chubb. If you want to even go down the list a little bit more, or he's moved up in drafts, so I wouldn't call him a sleeper at this point, but 2nd-year wide receiver, his name is Keon Coleman on the Buffalo Bills. He goes around the 7th or 8th round in a lot of fantasy football drafts, and he was breaking out right before he got hurt. He had a 125-yard game, and then he had another 90-yard game with a touchdown. I mean, he was ready to explode. And the good thing about taking an alpha like Keon Coleman, who hasn't really hit it yet, is that he's playing with an MVP quarterback in Josh Allen, and there's no established alpha there. So in the middle of your rounds, I would say Keon Coleman's a sleeper only because I feel like he could be like a 2nd, 3rd round pick next year. And like I said, if you want to get ugly, Nick Chubb, running back on the Browns, nobody's going to want him. So he's yours to take in those later rounds.
I love it, Alan. Thanks so much for doing this today. Really appreciate it. And we'll have to get you on again later on in the season.
Happy to do it anytime, my man.
There you go. Alan Seslowski covers fantasy football for RotoWire. I mean, when anyone who's in that many leagues, 40 plus leagues, Wanye, and going down from 60, that's quite the drop off. And I honestly, sometimes when I'm playing fantasy sports, I think maybe I'd like sports more if I wasn't playing fantasy, because I wouldn't be like just take the Bills for example. I'm watching the Bills game. I'm dependent on a Joshua Palmer touchdown. He doesn't score. I'm all mad. I'm like, oh, I really needed a touchdown from him.
But
could have been a great game.
How many games have you watched that really don't matter to anything other than your fantasy team?
So many. But I'd watch those anyways,
60 leagues is crazy.
That's unbelievable.
Like imagine you had 60 girlfriends and it would take you 2 months to talk to each of them once a night.
Yeah.
Impossible. How can you run 60 leagues?
I don't know what you do. And would assume, and I always ask the fantasy football guys that question because they're always like, 55 leagues and I win half and lose half and can't keep a track of all them. But they'd probably be on different apps too. Like it would be so tough not to mess up and miss a bye week or something.
And you're having to like modify your lineup every week, right? So you're having to log into 60 different teams.
It's crazy.
Come on.
Oh, well, I love talking fantasy football though. A lot of fun. We'll take a break.
I suppose if you're the RotoWire fantasy guy, it kind of makes sense.
Yeah.
If you're an average civilian with a normal life, probably wouldn't work.
When it's your job,
true,
you do it. We'll take a break. When we come back, we'll get to your text 1-833-401-1440. Lots to get to on the show today. I'll head down to Kansas City and hear Cam Tate's 2-minute warning in the next hour. But right now, Sports 1440 update brought to you by PlayAlberta.ca. You can go in today. look over at the Lotto Max for tomorrow night. It's an estimated $25 million. You can buy your ticket there. Also, the Gold Bowl on Wednesday. Or you want to do some sports betting, use code word Gregor50 with your deposit. Get a $50 free bet. Use your GameSense, GameSenseAB.ca at playalberta.ca. Here is Declan Kruger.
This is the Sports 1440 update.
Former Edmonton Oilers defenseman Tyson Barrie has retired from the NHL after 822 games, and the Commanders and wide receiver Terry McLaurin reached an agreement today on a 3-year contract extension worth $96 million. Las Vegas Raiders starting wide receiver Jacoby Myers, who is entering the final year of his contract, has requested a trade, and the Toronto Argonauts have added Tate Shedeur Sanders to their negotiation list today, one day after he was waived by the Buccaneers. Texans not activating running back Joe Mixon by Tuesday's 4 p.m. Eastern deadline, making him ineligible to play in at least the first 4 games of this season with an ankle injury. And 6'5", 449-pound rookie defensive tackle Desmond Watson has been cut by the Buccaneers. MLB will get going today at 4:35 with the Red Sox and Orioles. Blue Jays in action at 5:07, playing host to the Twins. Max Scherzer on the mound in that one. In the U.S. Open, Canadian Gabe Diallo will get going in about 20 minutes here, and it was Victoria Mboko who just won the Montreal Open, losing to Barbara Krejcikova in the first round. Two-time Wimbledon champion Petra Kvitova has headed to retirement after a first-round U.S. Open loss 6-1, 6-0 to Diane Parry. I'm Declan Kruger. This has been a Sports 1440 update.
Sports 1440, a Stingray radio station broadcasting on Treaty 6 territory.
Download the free iHeartRadio app and listen to CKJR wherever you go.
Whether you're a craft beer connoisseur or more of a wine aficionado, there's always something new to discover at Sherbrooke Liquor, a unique family-owned independent liquor store. The selection, incredible. The non-alcohol section is also very impressive. Sherbrooke Liquor, expert, knowledgeable staff with a passion for unique finds. More than just a liquor store, we're a community. Alberta's best, the one and only Sherbrooke Liquor. Wine, spirits, and oodles of beer. Visit SherbrookeLiquor.com.
Work never gets done by standing around. You have to put your words into action. And that's exactly what GS Construction does every single day. Our priorities are safety first, quality second, efficiency third. GS Construction works hard. It's true. But first comes the care, the planning, and the people. Underground infrastructure isn't just about machines and trenches and some traffic inconveniences. It's about doing things right. Find out more on what we do. Visit gsconstruction.ca.
McDonald's sundaes and snack size shapes are $2, or get $1 cones exclusively on the McDonald's app. With those prices, your hands are going to be full of treats. Like Alex here. My phone. I got you. App download and registration required. At participating McDonald's in Canada. Taxes extra. Prices exclude delivery.
The 8th annual Oilers Nation Open tees off Friday, August 29th at 9 a.m. A Texas scramble with fellow golfers, sports fans, and maybe even a few local personalities. Great shots, cold drinks, and a great cause. Gregor's Grads. Sign up at nationgear.ca.
On the rocks, the party never stops.
Check it out.
Mondays, bingo tunes.
Tuesdays, tacos and tequila.
Wednesdays, it's wings and karaoke.
Shake what your mama gave you with salsa lessons on Thursdays and the best live DJs.
Plus, live music every Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, along with DJ Kenny K.
Hold on, let's not forget $5 happy hour, 7 days a week.
Your bar, your party. You're on the rocks.
On the rocks.
Chat Ave and 118th.
At Leading Edge Physiotherapy, we believe that life shouldn't hurt. Now, that doesn't mean that we don't know that sometimes it really hurts. I mean, we've seen people at their worst moments in life, when they feel they have nowhere to turn, or at a time when they felt like their problem just wouldn't ever go away. We've also seen people who thought to themselves, it'll just go away on its own, or this is no big deal. I don't want to bother anyone about this. Don't know where to turn to, or think it's no big deal? Either way, we have the technology, techniques, and skills to help you get back to it, whatever your it may be. Life shouldn't hurt. LeadingEdgePhysio.com.
Rivalries run deep in Alberta football.
Edmonton all the way. Calgary rules.
But when it comes to the best snack for 3-down fun, there's no Battle of Alberta. It's a clear winner.
Wilhock Beef Jerky.
The one thing every Alberta fan agrees on. So whether you're watching the game from your recliner or in the stands, make it a part of your game day.
Wilhock Beef Jerky. Because you don't win games with salad. Only available in Leduc.
Diablo Boots sells only Canadian-made work and biker boots made by Canada West. No American or boots made in China, so no tariffs. All of Diablo's boots have replaceable soles and heels for longer life. Sizes 6 to 14 EEE. Buy quality, buy Canadian. And support Canada West and Diablo, the two best names in the boot business. So save on boots by Save On Foods. That's Diablo Boots, 3340 Gateway Boulevard on the east side of Save On Foods. Buy Canadian. They're terrific.
Portions of this hour brought to you by Japa Machinery. Japa is digging deep on their 50-year history of supporting Alberta's construction industry with their line of special edition blackout excavators. Visit japamachinery.com for all the details.
Sports Radio is back. The Jason Gregor Show on Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
Jason Gregor Show here on Sports 1440, brought to you by PlayAlberta.ca, also streaming on Oilers Nation Facebook, YouTube, and X. Shout out to everyone chatting in there. Now, I think we got a few new names popping up. Lance had texted in, chatting in what we thought about his old coworkers' rap songs that we had talked about last week. Remember Lance Kane's coworkers paid money to have rappers?
Yes.
Yeah.
What do we think about that?
See, confession, I did not listen.
Well,
I'm sorry.
It's a gangster play. Not listening. Getting real rappers in your songs is a gangster play. Yeah.
Absolutely. You can always reach us 1-833-401-1440. That's the Ewell inbox. Score with your power play partners at Ewell. Get all your electrical needs at ewell.ca with 24/7 ordering and shipping in Edmonton and across Alberta. 1-833-401-1440. You can also email me the old-fashioned way. Connor at sports1440.ca. I'd say Brandon. That would just send emails to him and he would wonder what is going on. Also, our old intern, Josh, got his real email with sports1440. Josh at sports. Is it Josh or Joshua? Josh. Josh at sports1440.ca. I wonder how many people will email him just saying test.
Yeah.
Little rookie hazing here.
Email him a scam. He's new. He'll fall for it. He'll click on links.
We don't even know if the email works yet, but if you want to, you can check it out. And I did mention we're brought to you by PlayAlberta.ca. Of course, tomorrow, estimated $25 million Lotto Max. Go check it out. PlayAlberta.ca. Still to come in the show. We'll be joined by Spec. Got Dave Naylor from TSN will drop by, talk some Edmonton Elks as they were victorious once again on Friday night. We've got Cam Tate's 2-minute warning. And in our next segment, we'll head down to Kansas City, talk some Chiefs with Rob Collins with Fox 4 down there. Early on in the show, because we strive to be accurate, we had a statistic about Andy Reid's record in Kansas City.
I got tricked by Instagram. I don't even know what 10 losses and 170, but it was a Chiefs Nation type account. Many followers, still learning all the ins and outs.
So his record is beautifully done. He's been a master class since going to Kansas City. He's lost more than 10 games. He's 143-53.
I said, maybe it's his home games, and then let me show you the account, and they'd taken it down. So I think what happened was I got tricked by a typo.
In Philly, he was 130-93. He's coached in 420 games.
If you've never made a mistake in your life, I congratulate you. But I make them regularly.
It happens. That's what happens. When you live out loud, that happens.
That's right.
But Andy Reid, pretty good head coach in the NFL, I would say. Has some staying power, too. And then, like, his coaches, like Steve Spagnuolo, their defensive coordinator, doesn't want to leave. He didn't have the best success when he was a head coach, but as a DC, the guy rocks.
Where would you put Andy Reid in the list of NFL coaches?
Of all time? Oh. I haven't been around for all time.
Fair.
So, in my era,
modern day,
I have to have Bill Belichick there. Now, the Patriots fans might say he left, went downhill. Brady left, won a championship. So maybe it was more Brady because Brady's come out and talked about how he took over meetings and stuff, game plans. He would run it if he didn't like the way it was being done. So maybe Brady gets a little bit more credit.
Brady would take over meetings if he didn't like how it was being done.
He'd install game plans and stuff. What? He was just psycho, but he won. So obviously it worked. Dan, I think Reid is right up there in coaches that I've seen. Probably got to be top 3. Who else? Bill Parcells was pretty good. Saw him at down the end of the stretch.
Current NFL coaches, who would you put in the top 3?
Andy Reid, Sean McVay,
Dan Campbell.
Well, this is going to be a very telling season for Dan Campbell because he lost both of his coordinators. So if they can maintain the same sort of success with new coordinators, I think that would be a very, very good sign. That'd be a good one. Maybe in Buffalo, you got a pretty good coach. Just trying to think of the teams that have had like success and maintained it for a while now. But I'd probably put McVay and Andy Reid as the top 2.
Why do you think Bill Belichick? This is speculative.
Harbaugh in Baltimore.
Yeah,
and as another guys that had a really good success.
Why would Belichick leave the NFL at this stage of his career?
I have no idea. I thought for sure he was trying to track down the all-time wins leaders at Shula, and like he was within distance a couple more years, but then goes to North Carolina.
How do you think he'll do there?
I don't know. I think it's going to be a really intriguing storyline. Maybe we bring Declan Kruger in on this one as well, our resident college football insider. But I think that if you wanted to be a pro and your goal was to make it to the NFL, there's all these schools that have been like pathways to it. The SEC's done it for a long time. Ohio State, Michigan, USC. But going to learn a pro-style game, I would think Bill Belichick would be a really good way to go. So I would assume in the future they probably land some top recruits, Declan.
Oh, 100%. 100%. Yeah, I think that's clearly the goal of that North Carolina program, right? Like, turn it into the Kentucky basketball of college football. Like, now, Kentucky basketball under John Calipari, they actually wildly underachieved in regard to winning championships, things like that. But they were a pro pipeline, like 100%. They were a team that would just get these one and done kids who were ultra talented, and they would the pitch was always, listen, come here and you will be a pro player in no time. And I think that's what North Carolina is doing. And like you said, what better coach to do that with than with Bill Belichick?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, when he speaks, you have to listen. And I'm curious to see what kind of a program he runs, because I've heard from a lot of guys that play high level college ball, when they go to the NFL, it's like, oh, this is easy. Like, it was way tougher in college, like longer practices. Really? They can get away with more. When you get to the pro game, you got the Players Association, right? So practice lengths, it's strict. You can only do so many. In college, you can go like 4-hour practices if they really want to. So, what's it going to be like for that? But I would think, like, if you're a top quarterback and you get the opportunity to go play under Bill Belichick, that's a pretty prime destination. Pretty good football out there. ACC for football, Declan, when it comes to Tar Heels? ACC. So, some good teams there. You get Clemson.
You got Clemson. You got Clemson.
Did I got Virginia Tech?
Virginia Tech, yeah, they're ACC. No, Miami's fine this year. They're ranked number 10 in the preseason poll. SMU's top 25, but I think they'll have a pretty decent little regression. So yeah, you got Clemson out there.
You got some good ones. What about my man in Pittsburgh? Yeah, Mike Tomlin would be top 5, I would think. I mean, all he does is get his teams ready and get them into the playoffs with a 9-8 record and no quarterback. But now you got Aaron Rodgers, another one. We'll see if he has success here. It's just more another feather in the cap, I'd say.
Tell me, Declan, have you ever been tricked by an Andy Reid infographic?
I can't say that I have.
Don't say you know somebody who was, because that's a circular reference.
But I might know someone who has. Yeah.
They're tricky.
They'll get you. Listen, they'll get you.
They will. I had text coming in here from Pillman saying, how about Tomlin in Pittsburgh? And yeah, he said top 3. I don't know if I have him top 3 right now. I just want to go back and confirm this. But it's been a while. When was their last playoff win?
Oh, so you look up what you're talking about.
If my laptop allows me.
I got it.
I think their last playoff win was 2016. So it's coming up on a decade. But their quarterback play hasn't been good. Like, he's a very good head coach. So I would say top 5 for sure. You got to give Nick Sirianni some love. I mean, people for whatever reason don't love him, but he just won a Super Bowl. got to respect that game. I would think. But yeah, Tomlin's a guy you keep around there for sure. Pillman says, when was the last one? Probably with Big Ben. Yeah, I think Big Ben Roethlisberger was the last time they won a playoff game out in Pitt. But they've had some teams with like not very good quarterbacks, and they still find a way to remain competitive. So you got to acknowledge them.
How do you think they'll do this year
with Aaron Rodgers?
Yeah,
I'm intrigued. It's a tough division for sure. Like the Bengals and Ravens are going to be certainly tough. Got DK Metcalf. Caleb Johnson Duck when they drafted out of Iowa? Yeah, I like him at running back with Jalen Warren, Fryermuth. I think TJ Watt is just such a good player too, defensive end for the team or edge rusher. I mean, when he's playing, he's an impact on almost every single game, every single play. So I kind of think they'll be like right around the same sort of. There could finish third in the division, fighting for a playoff spot.
How do you think Rodgers specifically will do?
I don't know. That's so intriguing because they got Arthur Smith there as their OC, who I do not love from his time as a head coach, although I think they've been okay. Last year down the stretch when he was playing, when they got Devontae Adams, he had a couple, I think, decent games. I think he'll give them above average. He's an upgrade on the quarterback they've had the last few years. I mean, whether it was, who have they had there? Not Kenny Pickett was there for a while. Wasn't great. Russell Wilson last year was Justin Fields. I mean, last year, Rodgers threw 28 touchdown passes, 11 picks, completed 63% of his passes, which is kind of on par for him. I think it's an upgrade, but he'll be 42 years old this season. Like that's tough.
And he's Aaron Rodgers. Slightly. As time goes on, a little bit every year, a little weirder.
There was a time where I was like, I like listening to Aaron Rodgers. He's an open or a free spirit. And then it was like, I don't know about this guy. Maybe a little bit different.
He's changing a lot year on year too.
Yeah. Oh, like he's getting a little more freewheeling with what he says, right?
Yeah.
RBS, notice Steelers fan, says, I won't lie. As fun as winning seasons are, I'm over losing playoff games. Tomlin needs a playoff win this year. Yeah, absolutely. You make the playoffs and you lose, to a certain point, it's like, okay, that's not enough. You know, if it's your first kind of, you're building up, you're the Detroit Lions, you're Dan Campbell, you lose a playoff game, like, hey, at least we got there. We're turning things around. This is great. But if all you do is lose in the playoffs year after year, what are you doing to get better? You can't just continue to march out the same group. Pillman says Pitt versus KC for the cup. What cup?
That's for the Super Bowl. That is not possible.
The AFC Championship trophy. I don't know about that one. We'll have to see. Gilly says Bill went to college so he could hang out with people his girlfriend's age. Hey-o.
That is well said.
That could track. Is it a fiance or girlfriend?
I think girlfriend.
Girlfriend?
Yeah.
That was a wild little run that they had about talking about how, you know, she was pulling the strings.
I would never in a million years have expected that for Bill Belichick. He seems like the most iron-fisted, no nonsense, no fun. And then
I heard he's kind of a different guy, though. Have you ever seen him mic'd up with Ocho Cinco?
No.
He's a little more laid back, like preseason game or whatever. He's like, oh, yeah, we're playing double 85 all game. We're double coveraging you all game. Like, just kind of talking trash with them. And now he's a little bit more laid back. We've seen him on the Pat McAfee show helping out with them. It would be intriguing because I kind of like these stories of these coaches that do their recruiting trips. And Jim Harbaugh, since he's going to the Chargers, when a Michigan player or college player is being interviewed, they'll say, what's like your weirdest recruit story? And like, you'll hear Jim Harbaugh would go and like sleep on people's couches and just like try to like become part of the family to recruit these players. Because you imagine like you're 17-year-old kid, 16, you're at home and Bill Belichick shows up at your front door to recruit you.
It's got to be one of the strangest things about sports that you have to go recruit like teenagers.
Yeah.
And like agents and coaches have to go and like bend the knee to talk to a 17-year-old. Like Jim Harbaugh sleeping on our couch. Like what other industries can you think of where they have to go to such lengths?
Coming out to the cookout to hang out with the guys and things like that. I don't know. And you know, if you're Bill Belichick, like, would you just show up with your Super Bowl rings and like just do like put your hand on your chin? Like, yeah, I know a little bit about football, man. If you want to come play for a great program, wear cool uniforms and go play pro in the NFL, you'll come with me. You just walk out.
You had my vote.
Like it seems like it'd be that easy. But as we saw in the movie The Blind Side, lots of promises are made. Have you seen that movie?
Oh, yeah.
When all the coaches are recruiting
yeah.
Michael Orr and the little kid is getting free stuff. You got to lead them out of the tunnel.
Have you seen the photos of the University of Texas when they roll out all the Lambos on recruitment day? So the players come to see the stadium. There's just Lambos everywhere.
No.
Oh, that's marketing. That's marketing.
I do like, hearing the stories too of like the recruitments. Like, oh yeah, I had my official visit. Whatever. Watched Ohio State take on Michigan. Like, oh, what'd you do that night? Can't tell you what we did. Like, what goes on those visits? Maybe a few visits to some clubs and things like that.
The NIL has taken the fun out of recruitment too, probably, because it was like, I'm just going to leave your house and this box of $100 bills will arrive in an hour and they're not from us, right?
That didn't happen before.
Oh, come on now. Come on, Connor.
It might have happened a little bit
Now
before.
who's wrong?
Maurice Claret, Reggie Bush, all those guys.
Who's Maurice Claret?
Oh, he was a beast running back at Ohio State back in the day. So things came up. He dropped out. He went into the draft, played for the Broncos. Didn't pan out. But he was a man-child at Ohio State. I think as a sophomore.
And he got recruited heavily.
Well, I think it involved getting cars and stuff. You couldn't do that back then. You couldn't get anything. These guys were in video games and they got no compensation for their likeness. So
what a scam.
It changed. And
do you agree with the NIL?
I think to a certain extent. I think it's not black and white. I think it's complex.
I think it gives players the ability to delay going into the NFL now.
Which is good, yeah. You're not leaving too early because you're not making money.
It opens up more money for professional athletes, even though they're not professional, they're in college, but more money, arguably better for everybody.
Yeah.
Do you think that it changes the nature of the game, though, with all these players entering the portal every year and there's like no real loyalty anymore? Is that...
I don't know. I guess it depends on your outlook on it. Like, I understand, like, guys back in the day would sign they'd commit to a school and you probably wouldn't play till your junior year because you're a backup and you're kind of learning. But at the same time, these schools make so much money off these kids. I'm glad that they can, at least if they want to, if they have the option to go somewhere else and play and transfer. Because before you had to sit out for the entire season.
If you transferred,
you'd miss like the entire year, or you could go play JUCO. Like Cam Newton went and played junior college and then went from Florida to Auburn, right? Now I think they just transfer immediately, which I think is good.
Are all NIL deals 1 year long, or can you sign a guy for 4 years?
Yeah, I don't know, actually. I would probably assume it'd be 1 by 1, just in case, or maybe it's like a clause if you leave. Who would you want to sign with at 18 years old?
It's tough, right? Like my fully developed adult brain would be like, go to a good program. At 18, I'd be like, what's the craziest party school I can attend?
Is there a car dealership that'll hook me up?
It's got to make it harder to be a college player now that you can do legit deals and you're living an even more crazy lifestyle in college. It's crazy just to be an athlete, even if you're living in residence. But now these guys are living in penthouses and have millions of dollars and stuff.
Ask those old Miami teams back in the 90s.
What were they doing?
Oh, they were partying with 2 Live Crew.
Damn.
Yeah, they were living the life.
That is the life.
We'll take a break here. When we come back, we'll continue the football talk. But the pro level, we'll head to Kansas City, Chiefs Kingdom, and talk some Chiefs. That's coming up next here on the Jason Gregor Show on Sports 1440, Oilers Nation, Facebook, YouTube, and X. Brought to you by PlayAlberta.ca.
Ah, Hawaii. The warmth of a golden sunset as the waves roll in. The freshness of a waterfall. The lush scent of tropical flowers in the air.
You don't need to travel to enjoy all Hawaii has to offer. You just need to order pizza. Bring Hawaii home with the Aloha Trio, available for a limited time at Papa John's. Try our classic Hawaiian, super Hawaiian, or Hawaiian barbecue chicken for just $19.99 each. Better ingredients, better pizza. Papa John's, proudly locally owned and operated.
The Midsummer Sales Event is on now at Volvo Cars Edmonton. The all-new redesigned 2026 XC90 is here. Test drive the ultimate evolution in luxury. Lease or finance a 2025 XC60 from 0.49% and save $5,000. Finance or lease a 2026 XC40 from 2.99%. Come and discover the deals now at Volvo Cars Edmonton. Great vehicles, better service. The Midsummer Sales Event is on now at VolvoCarsEdmonton.com.
Summit Restaurant. Located in the heart of the Silent Ice Center and just minutes from South Edmonton Common, Summit is your destination for exceptional house-made pizza, delicious entrees, and expertly crafted cocktails. Experience the perfect blend of flavor and ambiance in a modern setting. Join us for a straightforward yet elevated dining experience where our commitment to quality speaks to every bite and sip. Make Summit Restaurant your next night on the town.
Day or night, tasting just so right. You can order Oodle Noodle at oodlenoodle.ca, delivering you the news almost right away. Remember, you can order Oodle Noodle at oodlenoodle.ca. So stay on your couch all day and order oodlenoodle.ca. Oodle Noodle.
I'm Rick Showers from No Bull RV, and you'd think that as a used RV expert, I'd be a real do-it-yourself guy. Oh, I know all the dirty and grungy stuff that has to be done to keep your quality used RV healthy, and I actually don't like doing it. That's why I hired a whole service team at No Bull. I get to talk about it on TikTok, and they get their hands dirty.
Gotta be some perks to being the boss, Rick.
That's right, Bob. It's only fair that I share it with everyone, which is why we created our Camp Ready Club. Here's how it works. For one low monthly cost of just $30, we'll do your spring opening, fall closing, and all your regular scheduled maintenance on your used RV.
Plus, club members get priority discounts and perks as well.
You know it, Bob. Camp Ready means you've got everything you need. But if you require service or repair during the peak summer season, Camp Ready members go to the front of the line to get you back to the great outdoors faster.
And that's No Bull.
NoBullRV.ca.
Portions of this hour brought to you by Sherbrooke Liquor, the best place for wine, cocktails, and beers from all over the world. Also, variety of excellent non-alcoholic options. See more at SherbrookeLiquor.com.
Hat tricks, touchdowns, and home runs. Get it all with the Jason Gregor Show on Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
.327, welcome back to the Jason Gregor Show here on Sports 1440. Also streaming on Oilers Nation, Facebook, YouTube, and X. Connor Halley, Wanye Gretz with you. Declan Cougar, Josh Fenwick keeping us on track as well. Text line 1-833-401-1440. The Jason Gregor Show, always brought to you by PlayAlberta.ca. Right now, we're going to go take a look at the NFL report brought to you by Legacy Heating and Cooling. Home and no payments, no interest for 1 year on your furnace or AC unit. Bundle them together and save more at legacyheating.ca. We're going to head down to Kansas City and talk some Chiefs with Rob Collins of Fox 4 in Kansas City. Rob, good afternoon. How are you doing today?
I'm doing well, fellas. How are y'all doing? Beautiful day here in KC, man.
Well, we're ready for some football, I would assume, hey?
Yeah, we are definitely getting ready. The preseason over last night. The Chiefs had their big red carpet debut for the premiere episode of The Kingdom, the franchise docu-series that's running on streaming platforms right now. So big to-do here in Kansas City last night. Another red carpet, imagine that.
Now, have you got a chance to check out any of the series yet?
I have watched it, yes. It's very good. What I like about it is it delves into the history of the Chiefs, mostly Lamar Hunt's vision for the NFL and how creative he was and how much of a gambler he was and a risk taker he was to basically break away. Because you got to remember, they were in the AFL back then with the Dallas Texans, and then going up against the Behemoths and the old money, and he got it off, and those guys went bananas after that. So most of the innovations you see right now in the NFL game came from Lamar Hunt in some way, shape, or form. Because remember, he named the Super Bowl, right?
Mm-hmm.
He was playing with his kids, and they were bouncing one of those Super Balls like we used to have, where you throw it on the ground, try to bounce it over your house. And that's where the name Super Bowl comes from, watching his kids play Super Bowl. So it's really interesting from that point. I think folks who aren't Chiefs fans will get a deeper appreciation of just how innovative and how Lamar Hunt saw his vision pretty much come true.
That's awesome. Now, I will probably get into that at some point. I might have to stop at 2019 as I'm a Chargers fan, and I don't know if I can go through it. Already watching the Chiefs whoop them twice a year. I don't need to see it again. But I want to ask you about Patrick Mahomes, because we saw the start to his career and the incredible numbers he was putting up and not turning the ball over. Last year, 26 touchdowns. The first, 7 weeks of the season, he had 9 interceptions. But from then on out, he was really good. What are your expectations for Patrick Mahomes this year? And he's going to get back to that guy who throws 40 touchdowns.
Yeah, all during training camp that the Chiefs talk to us seemingly every day about reincorporating the deep ball back into the offense, the offensive coordinator, Matt Nagy, and they have the receivers to do it. Rashee Rice, Hollywood Brown, obviously Travis Kelce over the middle, and some younger guys who can go down the field and get the ball. But the problem is, as you guys know, that Rashee Rice is going to get suspended. We don't know when. We don't know how many games. We'll find out maybe before the season starts or after week 4 when they have that judiciary hearing with the NFL. But they're definitely making it a point to go back to the long ball. And I think they'll have a better chance this year, because the reason they haven't been doing it in the past because the left side of their offensive line has been awful. I mean, let's just face it. They tried Kingsley Suamataia last year at left tackle, and that poor guy got destroyed early in the season and really never recovered. They moved him to guard this year, and now the left tackle is Josh Simmons, their first-round pick out of Ohio State. He had injury questions coming in, tore patellar tendon in his knee last October, so a lot of other franchises were kind of reticent to draft him. You know, left tackles are hard to come by, and especially if you're drafting 30, 31 like the Chiefs seemingly always do, you're not going to get a top-tier left tackle, but they think they have one. They think they have the future at left tackle with Josh Simmons. And if that's the case, shout out to the Chiefs medical team, because a lot of people passed on him and a lot of people are going to be kicking themselves in the rear end for not giving him the job at left tackle. But if he can stay there, keep Patrick Mahomes upright, because they have great players on the right side and at center with Creed Humphrey and Trey Smith. So if he can stay upright, he's going to throw the ball deep.
I want to ask you, I mean, last time we saw the Chiefs lose a Super Bowl was the Bucs, and it was really the offensive line that was the weakness. Now, the Eagles are a juggernaut. They got a really good team. But after that loss, where was the attention in the offseason? Where did they look to fix up and upgrade?
Yeah, after the Tampa loss, I was there. I watched it. It was terrible. It reminded me exactly of the Philadelphia loss. As a matter of fact, my coworker and I turned at each other after the first quarter, and we're like, dude, are we back in Tampa Bay? This is awful. But, yeah, they went straight offensive line, and you saw what happened. They went to 2 Super Bowls. So that's exactly what the focus was here. And as I mentioned, I think that
might have lost our guest there.
I think we did for sure.
Declan's on it quick.
I think for sure we lost the guest.
That was Rob Collins of Fox 4 down in Kansas City. We'll talk about that when he returns. Chiefs Kingdom sounds like a cool doc.
I noticed you didn't bring up any of my Andy Reid statistics, and I'm wondering if that's like a personal insult to me or why.
I should have told him that was his record. You know, he's 151-10, and he'd be like, that doesn't sound
That he
right.
hangs up,
That doesn't sound necessarily right.
Jeez,
but I think we got Rob back here. Sorry, Rob, we lost you there. We're just talking about maybe the plan here and what they can correct from last season. I mean, it's hard to be critical of a team that went to the Super Bowl, but didn't get the job done. So there are some things they might want to correct.
Yeah, I figured you had another Chargers fan back in the control room or something. Just cut me off like I'm tired of hearing this dude talk about Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs. No, but there is a renewed focus for these guys, and they haven't said it really publicly. They did in the docuseries that's streaming, but to us, they haven't really talked a whole lot about to be honest with you, how pissed off they are that they got embarrassed in the Super Bowl, but they are. It's bubbling under the surface, and I think Patrick Mahomes is going to try to come out and go scorched earth this year. I mean, they have a tough test earlier in the season. They have to play your Chargers in Brazil, which is going to be weird. And then they have to play the Eagles in week 2. And then they have Baltimore in week 4. So we'll know right out of the chute whether these guys have the makings of making another run or not.
Well, and our producer here is a Bills fan, so we're all pretty sour when it comes to talking Chiefs.
So we know who cut me off.
Yeah,
Who it was.
It had to be him. Yeah, and then the other producer is actually a Bengals fan. So we're just
oh my God,
Chiefs haters over here right now.
Well, you're not alone. I mean, everybody picks somebody else other than the Chiefs to win this division, and they've won it 9 straight years, 2 shy of New England Patriots record. And I just laugh when I see these people, because I know these people are trying to get out ahead of it. You know, we're trying to be, I'm the guy who told you that they were going to lose the division this year. bro, it's not going to happen. The division's getting better. Yes, they got better coaches, they got better players, but all these folks I see on social media doing that remind me of those dudes who hated Nickelback publicly. We're all over Nickelback on social media, back in the day. And then you pull up to them next to a stoplight and they're belting Rockstar at the top of their lungs. Like, come on, man, shut up.
I'm the same
trying
way.
To pick against common sense.
I see people picking the Chargers the last 5 years. I'm like, you guys aren't Chargers fans. You don't know. You don't pick them. It's going to be the Chiefs once again. Rob Collins joining us here on the Jason Gregor Show. Connor Halley, Wanye Gretz sitting in. So, Rob, looking at the tight end position, and we talk about Patrick Mahomes, the next biggest name would probably be Travis Kelce. And the statistics have dropped off a little bit. But, I mean, we know he can still get the job done. What are you expecting out of him this season? He'll be 36 on October 5th.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I expect a big season from him. He hasn't told us yet if it's going to be his last or not. You may or may not know. He's got a lot of stuff going on and off the field. He's got a podcast and some girl who's a singer who's really, really popular, apparently. My 14-year-old daughter tells me about this all the time. But Travis Kelce, he's in better shape this season. He made a point to that, to work out in the offseason. And I'm telling you, look out for Blake Bell. He's going to get more targets at tight end. And Robert Tonyan, the former Green Bay wide receiver, I'm pretty sure he's making the 53-man roster. I would be shocked if he is not on the roster tomorrow afternoon when they are finalized. He has had a great camp here in Kansas City. So they're going to slow play Travis Kelce, I believe, and then unleash him in the playoffs. When they had the receiver injuries last year, they kind of had to play Kelce more than they wanted to. And so we'll see how that factors in this year when Rashee Rice, like I said earlier, gets suspended. Whenever that happens, we'll see what happens to Travis Kelce's playing time. But the offense, we know, runs through Kelce at a point. But again, they're trying to throw the deep ball. I think Patrick Mahomes is going to have a big season near 5,000 yards this year because they're making such a point for him to air that thing out.
I'll tell you, there's probably no more terrifying thing than Patrick Mahomes having time in the pocket, stepping up and heaving one deep, because you knew it was probably going to be painful for the opposition. Now, Xavier Worthy, Hollywood Brown, two guys that can stretch the field. Got Juju Smith-Schuster, who could be just kind of that perfect possession guy, and then Rashee Rice. I would think that confidence in this receiving room is pretty high this year.
It is very high. You named all their skill position guys. These guys can burn you deep. They can burn you in the intermediate route. They can make you miss after tackle. They can run the jet sweep. They can run the wide receiver screen. Andy Reid comes up with these crazy plays on the back of barbecue napkins while he's eating ribs here in Kansas City. So, man, you're going to see those guys put in the best position possible to succeed. And if we go by past results, that's what's happened.
We're joined by Rob Collins here on the Jason Gregor Show. Connor Halley sitting in. Now, on the defensive side of things, obviously we know Chris Jones, George Karlaftis, pretty big playmakers. They bring in Christian Fulton from the Chargers this season. And what are your thoughts on the defensive group, knowing you're going to have to take on a rising Bo Nix, Justin Herbert, and even Geno Smith? Big upgrade for the Raiders this year.
Yeah, indeed. Well, the Chiefs front four, you mentioned Chris Jones, good. George Karlaftis, their interior is good. There's some questions in the secondary. They have some new players. They've been battling some injuries. As you mentioned, Christian Fulton came over. He basically was injured for most of training camp. He just basically got back on the field in the last preseason game. But they have some younger guys, Noel Williams and Jaden Hicks, and people are going to scheme against Trent McDuffie. He's an all-star in my mind. He's an all-pro. But Steve Spagnuolo, defensive coordinator, likes to rotate a whole bunch of guys. So, when it's a nickel package or any other package, it's going to be different dudes out there. And they have a lot of them. They're just trying to find the guys who fit in the perfect spot that Spags wants to run in that time. But you're right. The front four is where it starts for the Chiefs. If they can, Chris Jones and George Karlaftis and Charles Omenihu and those guys can get after Bo Nix and Justin Herbert and whoever the Raiders going to trot out there, it should be good.
Are you going down to Brazil for week one?
No, we're not.
No.
No. Our company's not paying for that. Come on, man.
I was thinking,
just to be honest with you.
I said, oh, yeah, we guys started GoFundMe, send me down. I don't think I'd leave the hotel. I think I'd just be like, okay, straight to the game, and then I'm getting on the team charter back out of there. But it's going to be fun.
Yeah.
Friday night to kick it off, and it should be a lot of fun between these two teams. Rob, thanks so much for doing this today. Really appreciate it, and we'll talk to you again later on in the season.
Always appreciate the time, guys. Thank you very much. Y'all have a great day.
You as well. That is Rob Collins, covers the Kansas City Chiefs for Fox 4 in Kansas City. I want to go to KC. I want to watch a game. I want to sit here like in the home of the, and then I just yell, Chiefs. So getting in the tradition. and go have some barbecue. That's one of the places I'd like to go to.
What's the number one stadium you'd like to go see?
Lambeau Field. Ooh. Green Bay. The frozen tundra.
Doesn't matter who's playing, just witness the...
I'd like to see the Chargers there ideally, but if someone was like, hey, I got tickets and flights, want to come on out, I'd be like, oh, heck yeah. I'd love to go see a game. And it's just, you hear the stories. You're walking, you're in like La Pearl, and then all of a sudden, bam, there's a huge stadium.
It's in a residential area.
Yeah, like there you can rent houses right beside it.
Interesting.
And they like open up for tailgate. It's really cool. That'd probably be the top one. I'd love to I'd want to see SoFi, Jerry's World would be cool. Arrowhead, I think, would be an awesome experience. But even Renegade in Pittsburgh, they play that song at going into the fourth quarter. Cool tradition to experience.
Totally.
Where would you want to go?
Well, I'm not like NFL'd out like you guys are, right? I've been to the stadium in Dallas.
Yeah,
I
AT&T.
went to a Cowboys game there. Yeah, it was pretty amazing to go to. Saw that spectacle. I think probably Lambeau, right? I always think of the Packers for some reason, maybe just because they look the same as the Elks.
Yeah.
But I've always sort of had a kinship with them, even though I'm not necessarily the biggest football guy. But you have to also in Seattle. I'd like to hear that roar.
Which I've heard isn't quite as much as it used to be.
Really?
Yeah.
Plus, when you make a big deal about something like a roar, any off day of the roar, you're like, oh, that was pretty loud.
Yeah. I mean, if they get back to their Pete Carroll days, maybe the fans get as loud again. But yeah, I think that'd be a cool one. There's probably no bad. Like, I'd love to see Soldier Field in Chicago. The Vikings Stadium looks unbelievable, especially when they do the clap. I've been to Tampa. I guess I wouldn't want to go to the Commander Stadium.
Gillette Stadium would be sweet.
Gillette and Fox. Because Foxborough, they made like a city around it.
Really?
I don't know if this is true or not. Maybe people who've been can correct us, but I've heard that's like, it's just outside of Boston, right? And then they're now like, they built like casinos and hotels in the vicinity. So if you want to go to a game, you just stay there. And
I think it's important to see the old stadiums before they get knocked down. Because when they put these new $3 billion monstrosities up, it's fine. Like, it's an amazing structure, but I think the history is lost, right? Remember when the NHL was knocking down all the original 6 stadiums and putting up the new ones, right?
Yeah.
They're beautiful buildings, no doubt.
Coliseum's going down in 2026.
I heard that.
It's terrible.
We were in there, Zach Lang and I from Oilers Nation, for the last media avail. And I was like, they could fix this place up. I went inside. I was like, oh, they cannot fix it.
So, like, if you just think about it, the oldest field in the NFL is Soldier Field, opened in 1924. Major renovations, but they're creating a new one, building a new one would be the terminology. Lambeau, 1957. That's going to be there forever, but they've upgraded it. Arrowhead was 1972. The Bills Stadium, 1973, but they're opening up a new one in a couple of years. Superdome, 1975, and then you get right into the 80s. So, like, not too many crazy old stadiums in the NFL by my account.
A friend of mine lives in San Francisco, and he's a big 49ers fan. They are all so mad at that new stadium.
Because it's in Santa Clara.
And it's so, like, the sun hits them in a weird angle. And he was telling me there's, like, all these weird design elements. I've never really seen a stadium where the fans of the team wish they had the old one more.
And remember Candlestick, that's where they used to play. It was a baseball.
Yeah.
So, like, there was one point in the stadium where it was like, they wouldn't sell seats. And it was from, like, field level. Like, you could see it because they're just crossed off. You couldn't see a thing.
Classic.
But yeah, there's some beauties right now. I don't like, if you just want capacity, the biggest is MetLife, 82,000. But I just like Lambeau. It's open in 1957. It's super old, but they have the second most in terms of capacity, 81,000 with all the work they've done on it. So yeah, there's a few. Any stadiums you'd like to go check out, let us know. 1-833-401-1440. It is the Jason Gregor Show. Connor Halley, Wanye Gretz sitting in. We got Declan Kruger and Josh Fenwick with you here. We'll take a break. When we come back, we'll get to Cam Tate's 2-minute warning here on the Jason Gregor Show, Sports 1440, Oilers Nation, Facebook, YouTube, and X, brought to you by playalberta.ca.
Action Electrical's projects team takes the field, folks, ready to execute the entire play for new commercial builds.
Absolutely. They're masters of design, build, sketching strategy from initial blueprints to core electrical infrastructure. The team never misses on complex projects.
Known for handling big league constructions and major renovations, ensuring flawless execution, hire the Action Electrical team to bring home a win for your project. Visit actionelectrical.net.
Legacy Heating and Cooling is the #1 air conditioning install company for slushy lovers. Because while a slushy keeps you cool as an 80s song for a moment, AC from Legacy keeps you cold as ice all season long. A permanent full-body slushy sensation keeping you cold as ice with no payments and no interest for 1 year. Keeping you cool without the brain freeze. That's how you build a legacy. Legacy Heating and Cooling.
Listen up, because you're not going to want to miss this. Right now is your chance to get in on Play Alberta's biggest offer ever. For a limited time only, new players can get up to a $1,000 casino bonus when they sign up. There's never been a better time to join the fun. Visit playalberta.ca today to get started with casino, sports, and lottery all in one app. Must be 18 plus to play. Remember, if you gamble, use your game sense.
Reports suggest that Canadian taste buds are bored to tears.
Can't handle another dull drink.
Summertime smoothie experts everywhere are recommending a watermelon wake-up from Booster Juice.
It's so smooth, cool, and refreshing.
And ridiculously delicious. Enjoy the Watermelon Wave and Watermelon Explosion smoothies, available all summer long at a Booster Juice near you. Stay cool, Canada.
Booster Juice, Canadian-born, blending since 1999.
Come for Canada's largest trade shows, the biggest names in entertainment, exhilarating sporting events, and more. Stay for the experience at the Edmonton Expo Center. TNA Wrestling makes its explosive debut at the Expo Center on Friday, September 26th and Saturday, September 27th for back-to-back nights. Buy your tickets online today. Learn more about what's happening at the Expo Center by visiting the calendar of events online at edmontonexpocenter.com today.
How's your summer so far? Are you zipping around in your new truck from Wolf GMC Buick? If not, you should be. GMC employee pricing continues through August on our entire 2025 GMC Sierras, including the Sierra HD lineup. But just August. Who knows what September brings? Costco members save an additional $1,200 on our 2025 Buick lineup and all our new GMC Terrain. We're here for a good time, not forever. Buy the new reliable vehicle and treat yourself. Employee pricing, 0% financing at Wolf GMC Buick.
Ah, Hawaii. The warmth of a golden sunset as the waves roll in. The freshness of a waterfall. The lush scent of tropical flowers in the air. You don't need to travel to enjoy all Hawaii has to offer. You just need to order pizza. Bring Hawaii home with the Aloha Trio, available for a limited time at Papa John's. Try our classic Hawaiian, super Hawaiian, or Hawaiian barbecue chicken for just $19.99 each. Better ingredients, better pizza. Papa John's, proudly locally owned and operated.
Portions of this hour brought to you by Papa John's. Enjoy a taste of Hawaii with Papa John's Aloha Trio. Try the classic Hawaiian, super Hawaiian, or Hawaiian barbecue chicken pizzas for only $19.99 each at papajohns.ca or on the Papa John's app.
He's Alberta's sports authority and lead touchdown winner of his family's backyard flag football games. The Jason Gregor Show on Sports 1440.
Presented by playalberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
Bigger show here on Sports 1440, also streaming on Oilers Nation Facebook, YouTube, and X. Go hit that like button if you're watching right now. We do appreciate it. Connor Halley, Wanye Gretz, Declan Cougar, and Josh Fenwick with you here. The show brought to you by playalberta.ca. Lotto Max tomorrow, estimated $25 million. The Mike Greer of lotteries. Also, you can go down there, make your deposit, put in code word Gregor50, and get a free $50 deposit or $50 bet. Put it on whatever you want. Maybe you want to do some U.S. Open tennis. Maybe you want to wait for the Elks next Monday down in Calgary for Labor Day. Whatever you're feeling. Jays, Twins, so much you can do at playalberta.ca. Wanye, are you as Rob brought up, and then we got into the Nickelback there on the intro music. Are you a fan of Nickelback? Or are you like, because he's right, it was cool to be like, they suck. But I always said, if I could go to like a concert of Nickelback and just have a couple beers, I think you'd have a great time.
I used to not like Nickelback until Game 7 of the 2006 Stanley Cup Finals. And they did that Saving Me intro.
Yeah.
I have liked Nickelback ever since. It was that easy.
I think that like maybe some people want more from music, like lyrics, and they want to provoke or evoke emotion. I just want like something that makes me feel good, and lots of Nickelback songs do that.
I think people oftentimes remember how much How You Remind Me was played on the radio, because there was a year there where it felt like every other song on rock radio was How You Remind Me. I think it just got drilled into people's heads so much they started fighting back.
Yeah.
But Nickelback's got bangers.
Yeah. That whole genre, like not everyone had the amount as Nickelback, but like Puddle of Mud had a couple. Default, Theory of a Dead Man. Like all of those had like one or two songs. Like I can get behind it. I'm like out on a patio, sun's shining, that music's playing. I'm okay with it.
It's amazing with Nickelback how much of the oxygen Chad Kroeger takes up.
Yeah.
Like I had a laugh with a buddy one time who loves Nickelback, and I brought a photo up of the bassist not on stage, and I was like, "Oh, really? You love Nickelback? Who's this?" He was like, "I don't know." I'm like, "That's the bass player." They are all so anonymous except for Chad Kroeger. They just look like guys.
Well, then he had that song from the Spider-Man soundtrack,
So
Hero.
good.
Like what a hit. Oh. Dad says Nickelback. You mean Canadian Creed?
I know people who went to Creed PS who said they were unreal.
It looks like they put on a good show.
Yeah.
It was all over social media. CH, I can't stand Nickelback, but they sounded good live at the Heritage Classic. Came from Husks.
That's true.
And then we're just talking about 6 stadiums. Jumpin' Jack Flash said, guys, for football, it's got to be Green Bay, soccer, Wembley, and then baseball, Fenway in Boston.
Here's the thing I will a recent bone to pick with Nickelback.
Okay.
They were in attendance for game 6 of the Cup final, but didn't sing.
Oh, when you're good at something, you don't do it for free.
But I'm sure they would have been prepared to pay to play them onto the ice.
Yeah, that would have been cool.
Dang, I was like, oh, they couldn't get him to come play Saving Me. And then Chad Kroeger was in the crowd. I was like, oh no.
Just a fan. Taking it all in. Right now, we're going to get to Cam Tate's 2-minute warning. Brought to you by Action Electrical, most diversified electrical contractor in Alberta with 4 divisions and project service tag and solar for commercial or residential. Contact them today at actionelectrical.net. For those of you who don't know, longtime journalist in our city. Actually was in the studio a couple of Fridays ago as well. Always wanted to be on radio, and now with the power of technology, we can do so. So here is today's edition of Cam Tate's 2-minute warning.
There was something really neat, cool, groovy, far out, man, about your Edmonton Elks. Can you feel it? I can. All the way from one end of the Tony. You know the Tony. See, I call the Anthony Hendy Freeway the Tony. So yes, I can see this feeling, this spirit, this absolutely wonderful thing from one end of the Tony to the other north, south, east, west. It's there. All because the Edmonton Elks. This is not a daydream on the beach. The Elks. They are heading into another smash 'em up. Battle of Alberta back to back with those Stampeders of Calgary. You, Connor Halley, said it in the first segment of this broadcast bonanza. How many September long weekend has it been since the Elks have gone into the Labor Day? Classic without, are you ready for this word? Purpose. How's does that does get you going? My Saskatchewan brother, Kevin Carius, makes a good point in the morning show. He isn't going to have a big glass of red until the Elks beat a good team. And yes, old KK is right. Yes, Dennis, and perhaps there would be more. Let's say credibility if the Elks would have won their 3rd in a row again. The Ottawa Red Blacks, who have a record of 11-3. But last night I watched an NFL documentary on the great coach and broadcaster, John Madden. Something really struck me. Madden said, there are no little games. Every game is a big game. And then there's this. We talk about the culture of a sports team and to see it change for the good in your hometown. Sign me up for that action. All day long, we'll see you on the Tony 2-minute warning. Monday, Wednesday, Friday. Halley, Gregor, Tate, Sports. 14வது நாற்பதாவது.
What was that bit at the end?
Can you replay that? Just that end clip.
Halley, Gregor, Tate, Sports. 14வது நாற்பதாவது.
What is that?
One more time.
Halley, Gregor, Tate, Sports, 14வது 40வது.
Wow. Like it's obviously a voice to text error.
Are you sure?
Of course. Of
Maybe
course.
he's speaking in Sanskrit.
What could that possibly have supposed to have been if it had not been? Because the thing is, he'd closed it off like properly, like Sports 1440, Halley, Kruger, Tate. So but
try not to cry. That was a
funny one.
That sound.
My favorite thing about Cam Tate's hits is when he makes fun of you guys. Because you know what? There's nothing you can do.
Just take it in stride.
Love it.
That was awesome. Yeah, I mean, and that's what the point of that one was. Yeah, like this is finally a game that like the Elks need. They need to win at least one of these games to keep afloat in the race there. And like whether it's going to be crossover, and we said it. Crazier things have happened. They could still jump into third potentially. The Labor Day Classic's a lot of fun. And we're going to talk about that a little bit more as the week rolls on. I was just kind of scrolling through the history. And of course, last year, the Elks won 35-20. Awesome game. They lost the 2 previous games, but won back in 2021. If you go back in the history, and I mean, the Elks had a lot of success, but there was a run from 2006 to 2019 where the Elks only won twice. And I was at about 13 of those Labor Day games, and it sucked. But I will remember forever. It had to be 2011. Is that when Smitty came back to the Oilers? Does that sound about right?
What year?
2011.
It wasn't because they were still in the old barn.
Yeah.
Trying to do this without checking the internet. I think you're right.
I think that's when it was. Anywho, me and my boys, we go to those games and like have a lot of fun. Go out into the town in Calgary, great spot, and then go to that game. And by the end of the first quarter, I would be sitting there with my hands in my head, and I would say, why do we keep coming to this game? We just get stomped all the time.
Dang.
But that year, the Eskimos at the time were playing a little bit better. And yeah, it was 2011, 2012. And just stomped them. 35-7. A beatdown. And everyone was feeling so dang good. And after the game, we went down to the bottom to cheer the guys on after they left the field because we were so proud. And you know what the crowd was chanting? The Elks Eskimo fans?
Oh, no.
Ryan Smith. As they're running off the field. Probably thinking, what are they yelling? There's no Ryan Smith on this team. But it was such a great day. And yeah, Labor Day is so much fun. If you're going down there, have a blast. Don't go for the day. Make a weekend out of it. There's the Pride Parade's down there. Everyone has a good time. And then you go watch some football, drink some beers in their little box factory of a stadium. Enjoy it. It's great.
It's awesome how many people go to concerts at Rogers Place and then chant "Let's go Oilers" on the way out.
Yeah.
That's heartwarming.
And there's always video, right?
Oh, yeah.
Someone's always recording it.
Tagging Oilers Nation. We see it all the time. Basically, every concert, someone will tag us. Be like, look what happened.
Which makes no sense. Oilers fans are awesome.
Makes perfect sense.
World Cup, for some reason, an Oilers jersey. That's the best thing.
Every single time I've gone to a non-Oilers game at Rogers Place at some point during the event, I've been like, I wish this was an Oilers game. I wish this wasn't a Drake concert.
Talon says, was that Sports 1440 in Spanish? Phil says, something about a pathologist? Fuzzy said satanic tongues. That's what I thought. Declan, do we have that around still? Did you close it? When you bring it up, let me know. We need Tater to reply. Maybe he sent an email already telling us what that was.
Halley, Gregor, Tate, Sports, 14வது 40வது.
It sounds like words, though. It doesn't sound like, a coffee spilt on the keyboard.
It reminds me, just in the terms like satanic tongues. Remember when Pascal Siakam, his eyes were rolling back into his head when he was in the team huddle? Maybe that's what he was saying. And it brought the Pacers good luck.
Do you have the technology, Declan, to slow it down?
Yeah. It'll take a little time, I think, though.
Something to consider.
We could do it at the break.
We got 2 more hours.
Slow it down and just really look into it.
We're going to get to the bottom of this. Don't worry.
I was at the bar Friday, Blackjacks, between midnight and 12:30. As I was waiting for a couple staff to head out, I caught the end of the Jays highlights, so I was hoping to catch the Double E highlights. Yes, Sportsnet did 90-second game update. 90 seconds. Thanks for your pissy content. Signed, Canadian CFL fans. Yeah, I think you got to go to TSN for the longer highlights for the CFL. The rights holder typically will show them just a little bit longer. It's just too bad. Cat Dad also thinks that Nickelback was forced down people's throats to the point where they got annoying. So that might have been it. CanCon, baby. You got to play Canadian music.
I was just going to say, there's the CanCon rules, right? Thank goodness for Bieber and like Drake and The Weeknd just making unreal music, because for a while there, like I can remember when Bare Naked Ladies always got played. You were like, why are CanCon?
Yeah, now.
And Nickelback's the same thing.
Sometimes, you know what? I always wondered why maybe more American recording artists wouldn't, recording an album that's going to have success anyways, come to Canada, use a Canadian producer, get that Canadian stream as well.
Does that qualify as CanCon?
Yeah, you need like 2 out of 4. So you don't have to be born in Canada. You could use a Canadian producer and record in Canada or something along those lines. Canadian lyric writer. Yeah.
Shout out to the Bare Naked Ladies, though. Anytime you hear Jane on the radio, you got to sing along.
Take it all in.
The best.
We shall take a break, is what we shall do. Coming up in hour number 3 of the show, we'll have 5 questions with Declan Kruger. Of course, we'll take more of your text, 1-833-401-1440, and we'll be joined by Dave Naylor. Talk some CFL and NFL football. He's, of course, doing training camp tours around the United States and also covering the CFL, so we'll get to him and go a little deeper. What is this the start of a beautiful thing for the Edmonton Elks? Right now, though, a Sports 1440 update brought to you by Cattail Crossing. Mondays just got cuter. Bring your pup and hit the greens. Doggy Mondays are undoubtedly the best way to start your week at Cattail Crossing.
This is the Sports 1440 update.
Former Edmonton Oilers defenseman Tyson Barrie has retired from the NHL after 822 games. The Commanders and wide receiver Terry McLaurin reached an agreement today on a 3-year contract extension with up to $96 million. And Las Vegas Raiders starting wide receiver Jacoby Myers, who's entering the final year of his contract, has requested a trade from the team. The Texans are not activating running back Joe Mixon by the deadline today, making him ineligible to play in at least the first 4 games of the season with his ankle injury. And 6'5", 449-pound defensive tackle rookie Desmond Watson has been cut by the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. The Bengals and Trey Hendrickson have reached an agreement today on a $14 million raise for this year, boosting his 2025 salary to $30 million. He is still scheduled to be an unrestricted free agent after this season. And 2-time Wimbledon champion Petra Kvitova heads to retirement today after a first-round U.S. Open loss 6-1, 6-love Diane Perry. I'm Declan Kruger. This has been a Sports 1440 update.
1440, Stingray radio station. CKJR broadcasts from West Edmonton Mall and Wetaskiwin.
Download the free Stingray music app and listen wherever you go.
The Midsummer Sales Event is on now at Volvo Cars Edmonton. The all-new redesigned 2026 XC90 is here. Test drive the ultimate evolution in luxury. Lease or finance a 2025 XC60 from 0.49% and save $5,000. Finance or lease a 2026 XC40 from 2.99%. Come and discover the deals now at Volvo Cars Edmonton. Great vehicles, better service. The Midsummer Sales Event is on now at VolvoCarsEdmonton.com.
And here comes Action Electrical Service Team sprinting onto the scene. These are your first responders for any electrical emergency.
That's right. With their fleet of service vans and specialized gear, they assess, they service, and maintain electrical lighting and automation systems. They're all about rapid response.
Quick diagnostics and repairs to restore power and safety fast. Hire the Action Electrical team to bring home a win for your project. Visit actionelectrical.net.
New Jizz Nuggets. This is New Jizz Nuggets, brought to you by Legacy Heating and Cooling. What nugget of cooling advice does Nuge have today?
An air conditioner works by blowing air across the cold evaporator coil where the heat is absorbed into the refrigerant. I actually don't know what that means. Kind of like Zach Hyman with goaltender interference. Sorry, Zach.
Well, you got me there. Get no payments and no interest for 1 year on your new AC from Legacy Heating and Cooling. Proud sponsor of New Jizz Nuggets.
Tee off to win with Cattail Crossing's $10,000 hole-in-one challenge, powered by Sports 1440, Canada's first ever Aqua Range event. Just walk up, grab some golf balls, and start swinging. Or book a VIP bay today. Win $10,000 with a hole-in-one. Plus, great secondary hole and leaderboard prizes. Closest to the pin and monthly winners will battle for a $50,000 grand prize. The hole-in-one challenge. Open Thursday to Sunday, noon till 8 through August. Weather permitting, cattailcrossing.ca.
Hawaii, the warmth of a golden sunset as the waves roll in, the freshness of a waterfall, the lush scent of tropical flowers in the air. You don't need to travel to enjoy all Hawaii has to offer. You just need to order pizza. Bring Hawaii home with the Aloha Trio, available for a limited time at Papa John's. Try our classic Hawaiian, Super Hawaiian, or Hawaiian barbecue chicken for just $19.99 each. Better ingredients, better pizza. Papa John's, proudly locally owned and operated.
Diablo Boots sells only Canadian-made work and biker boots made by Canada West. No American or boots made in China, so no tariffs. All of Diablo's boots have replaceable soles and heels for longer life. Sizes 6 to 14 triple E. Buy quality, buy Canadian, and support Canada West and Diablo, the two best names in the boot business. So save on boots by Save On Foods. That's Diablo Boots, 3340 Gateway Boulevard on the east side of Save On Foods. Buy Canadian. They're terrific.
Every morning, you look in the mirror and see less of yourself. Hair loss can feel like losing a part of who you are.
But it doesn't have to be that way. Hi, I'm Dr. Vance Elliott. At Advanced Hair and Skin Surgery, we understand the pain of hair loss. Our advanced hair restoration solutions won't just bring back your hair, they'll help you face the mirror with confidence.
Good morning, you sexy beast. Visit drvanceelliott.com today because it's time to be the man you remember.
If you're feeling me, let's make a memory. My heart is melting cause your heart is falling. Tonight is all we got, and there's no time to stop. Think about the
Portions of this hour brought to you by Leading Edge Physio. From weekend warriors to professional athletes, kids playing soccer to grandparents in the garden, rotator cuff tears and tendonitis to post-surgical knees and hips, we fix your body. Life shouldn't hurt. leadingedgephysio.com.
The Jason Gregor Show, the best of Edmonton sports talk and beyond. This is Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
Jason Gregor Show here on Sports 1440, brought to you by PlayAlberta.ca. Tomorrow's night Lotto Max, an estimated $25 million. Get your ticket, PlayAlberta.ca. Connor Halley, Wanye Gretz, Declan Kruger, and Josh Fenwick with you here at the Sports 1440 studios in West Edmonton Mall. I hear it's cooking out there, but it's kind of chilly in the studio. I think, yeah, Declan, you went and grabbed the sweater. I'm wearing the sweater. Wanye's tough.
Oh, yeah.
So is Fenwick. But I hope you guys are doing good out there. Stay hydrated. Drink some water.
That's a nice thing to say, Connor.
If you see someone that needs some water, give them a water. Have you ever heard of the app Too Good To Go?
No.
So it's pretty cool. This is a free plug. Companies, rather than throwing out like baked goods and stuff, will give you it at a discounted cost. So you can get like a $15 package of donuts or 15 value worth for $5. And we went to a local convenience store over the weekend and they gave us 2 packs of prepackaged spicy buffalo chicken wraps. We thought we were going to get candy or something, but we got that. So
that's a good idea.
You know what we did? We're like, you know what? Let's just find somebody who needs it. We just got rid of them. Good way to do it. But yeah, and if you see someone who needs some water, give them some water. Carry some extra ones around for you. Be a good citizen.
Someone was telling me the other day, I can't remember the name of it, but there's a service. If you have like a apple tree in your yard, they'll come pick all the apples off of it, give you half, and then they go make jam for the food bank.
Oh, really?
That's kind of cool.
It's a good idea. Just tell my parents about that.
Why, they got an apple tree?
They do.
I feel like if you grow rhubarb or you have a fruit tree or something, it seems like fun and games until you've got 18 kilograms of rhubarb and all your neighbors won't look you in the eye anymore if you ask them if they want rhubarb.
Yeah. But it is good. We're going to get to Dave Naylor coming up in a couple minutes here. 5 questions as well, plus Spec at 5. Attica texting in stereos. Yes. Yeah. Little local band here. Lead singer is in my fantasy football league. He's a Bengals fan. Pat quarterback.
The lead singer of the Stereos is in your football league?
Yeah, fantasy football.
Dang.
I don't know if he's won it or not. It's my list of the 2 leagues I'm in that I'm like aren't Sports 1440 related. It's the one I follow a little less.
You know who's in the Nation Football League? Eric Sabrowski.
Oh,
MLB
really?
Superstar.
You got to get Devin Dubnyk in it too.
MLB. Oh, yeah, good point. It's so funny watching Devin Dubnyk interact with the Nation people because I honestly think Devin Dubnyk really, he said it on air. He wanted to be an Oiler his entire career. He kind of got done dirty on the way out of town.
Yeah.
He kind of didn't necessarily love all Oilers fans, but to watch him like rebuild his relationship with Oilers fans by being on the Nation is quite funny because he's beloved.
Yeah.
He just
he's
didn't
good.
know. Right. So now to see him like palling around with us, it's good fun.
It's like it was frustration when he was gone and his way out, but nobody really blamed him.
Oh,
I
think a lot of us blamed him.
I think take a step back and it's like he was part of it, but that nothing was good. It wasn't just him. He had no chance to succeed.
Remember that Mac T press conference where they said, if you have to ask the question about your goaltending, you know the answer?
Yeah.
That was, I mean, that was the final nail at that point.
JP says, beloved is an overstatement. We also had a text.
Beloved now in
now.
2025. Like the viewers of Ask Doobie on the Nation Network and people who are in the chat love Devin Dubnyk.
Penguin said, hey, boys, isn't it nice to have a genuine laugh? That's some good stuff. Love Tater. Love his genuine sense of community, family, identity. Good stuff. From Penguin, yeah, we love having Camp Tate's 2-minute warning. Now, Declan, did you slow it down? And you run it here. We'll see if we can identify. It might have just been gibberish, but it might have meant something.
Didn't Tate message us?
Well, he sent an email. He said, I don't know what that was.
It's an Easter egg. That's a trick. He's got something in there for us to find. We have to discover it.
Halley, Gerger, Tate, Sports, 14வது 40வது.
It's Turkish.
Let me slow down this file as well.
Just slow down. We don't need the beginning part. Just the one word.
Okay, hold on.
We should have slowed it down and just had like me saying the Chargers are going to win the Super Bowl. But we didn't think that far ahead.
Me making up Andy Reid stats.
பதினான்காவது 40வது.
Narpasal.
பதினான்காவது 40வது.
He said it all. What more can you say?
Now, what we really should do is play it backwards.
Now we're thinking. Let's get that going in backwards. Good thinking.
That might actually clear it up. What if it's like just Cam trying to like find words to say, like find ways to say swears on the radio or something? We got to preview that before we actually do it.
It's tonight's lotto number.
Tomorrow's Lotto Max. Go get your ticket and listen to what that said. Man, he said sports 1440 and cryptography. Yeah. We're all trying to figure out what they said. Texting here 1-833-401-1440. Not true. Bob Rock is from my high school here in Victoria, Belmont. Produced Metallica. Metallica is not CanCon. Has to be an artist who resides in Canada. I was a DJ for 30 years and had to actually pay $50 a year for CanCon license just to play music in Canada.
That guy knows.
Well, I talked to program directors, but it's not just produced. It's like a few different things, but you don't have to be American.
Canadian.
Like some American artists fall under CanCon. I'll go get examples. I'll go talk to Jeff at K97. If
Bring
I have
him
to.
in, eh?
Yeah, okay, give me these rules because we discussed it like last week.
It's still fresh.
Yeah. But it doesn't mean like I think it takes two of like the 4 or 5 categories, whatever it is. And then some certain radio stations have higher standards than others with their licenses. That's what I say. Guys, Luke Wilson, good for the CFL or not? Paul from Calgary. I think he is. I mean, anytime we're talking about the CFL, it's a good thing. And you might not like the way that Luke Wilson, portrays it or gets his message across at times, but I think that, having the discussions is a good thing. And, Gregor brought it up with Milt Stiegel, do you like the Rooch? He doesn't like it. Like you got to adapt with things. And every sport makes rule changes. Major League Baseball made rule changes. That's like the biggest old boys club there is. The NFL will change things. We've seen them work on their kickoff. We've seen them change the distance in an extra point. Like they're willing to make changes. I don't think the CFL is above making potential changes. And I think that Luke Wilson points out some things that are good topics of discussion. You might not agree with it all the time, but you know what? If that's going to trickle down and create discussion in local radio stations or wherever else you consume your content, then I don't think that's a bad thing. Bobby says, I think Tate's computer needs an exorcist. Perform an exorcism. Or is it on Cam?
Well, start with a computer.
I reversed it, and it sounds infinitely weirder.
Go on. Oh my goodness.
That's pretty ominous.
What is
We're like resurrecting some evil spirits underneath the mall.
Yeah, I don't
there
know
used
if
to
we
be a graveyard here.
like that book on Simpsons that they weren't supposed to read? That's what we've got going on here.
It's a little spooky. Oh well. We love it. That's the kind of stuff you get with the 2-minute warning with Cam Tate. Monday, Wednesday, Friday here on the Jason Gregor Show. We talked a little bit about the Chiefs Kingdom documentary, and we've seen the Dallas Cowboys one with Jerry Jones. It's on Netflix right now. Do you think, and I've brought this up in the past, but like the NFL with a Football Life, have you ever seen those that they do on the NFL Network? They'll just document like one player in their career.
Cool.
I'd love the NHL to do a little bit more of that, like the historians of the game, like people we might not know that much about, like the new generation could learn about Mike Bossy, and how good he was before injuries unfortunately ended his career. But like you get these 5-6 part miniseries. Wouldn't you love to see like a good one about the Edmonton Oilers? Going back to like how they made the jump from the WHA, how they brought in Gretzky and Messier and Lowe, Coffey, Fear, all these guys. Like, and then it's not always positives. Talk about some of the stuff off the ice as well. Like, I think that'd be such a cool documentary because if the Chiefs get one, I mean, modern day dynasty, perhaps. The Cowboys were a dynasty. We saw Michael Jordan Last Dance, how well that one was done. The Oilers were a dynasty in the NHL, and it maybe sounds biased because we're in Edmonton, but how good would a documentary be about those 70s, 80s Oilers?
One of the things I always rant about at nation meetings, which they love, they don't love it. I think there should be way more biographical content on the Oilers. I'll use the example of the Nuge. Well, how long has he been here now? Since 2013, 2012, somewhere in there.
Yeah.
So
he's number 93,
years.
so he was born in 93, right?
That's fair. Beyond the fact that he has a racehorse in BC and he had to take a year off minor hockey due to finances and then bought his old club a bunch of equipment, I know nothing about the man. And I think that goes for a lot of Oilers. Like, I would love to see a 6-minute bio on the Nuge's career.
6 minute.
Quick ones.
That's all you need.
Well, the NFL one's on Netflix. Like, I get it. They have the budget of a space launch, right? I get that. But even just a simpler one, like there's no end to what I would like to know about the Oilers. And to be in the NHL, like Matthias Janmark, let's pick as an example. I'm sure his story is so interesting. And yet we will find very little information out about him in his time here in Edmonton.
Yeah. Be cool. And that's, I kind of went with the big ones, but like, I just think of Mike Bossy, and every time I look at his numbers, I think, holy cow, like this guy was unbelievable. And for the older people, probably appropriately rated, but maybe the younger generation doesn't get a chance to see it. So like the NFL Network, the Football Life, Tony Dorsett, they go back in time and they, all these old, like, and then it's not just necessarily one player, but like the 72 Dolphins or whatever you could do a documentary on. Like if the NHL and the NHL Networks was looking to get content, things you could do, I think would be pretty cool.
Remember when they did the 30 for 30, was it King's Ransom?
King's Ransom, yeah.
And then Gretzky's hitting balls at the guy. And then he says he would have thought they would have won 7 or 8 cups. I almost started crying when I watched that. I was like, oh, come back.
I could have remembered one of them. What could have been. Little question for you. Ryan Nugent-Hopkins, 748 points in his career. So let's say he averaged 50 points in the next 5 years. He'd get to 1,000.
Yep.
He'd be 37. Think it happens?
I think the Nuge is going to play for a long time. I think he'll get there.
I think so too. And, not as common, but he's, 50, 56, 69, nice, 61, 104, 67. Like probably not going to reach those numbers, but a couple 60-point seasons gets him there a little bit closer, potentially. Got to stay healthy, which is always a factor in hockey, but that's just looking at his career statistics. It's within reach. And yes, he's been with the team since 2011, 2012. Burst onto the scene with 52 points as a rookie.
Remember Oil Change when they went to Tom Gilbert's house and broke the news he loves shoes? Do you remember that?
No, I remember the show, but
that was one of the great jokes at Oilers Nation that year was like, all we ever learned about Tom Gilbert was he loves shoes. At least we knew that. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know anything about Leon Draisaitl off the ice. You know what I mean? Despite got married.
Yeah.
But
As a soccer team, right?
Yeah, but these guys live interesting lives and they've overcome enormous odds to be in the NHL. I just think that's really compelling content.
I was like, just going back with Leon Draisaitl, like the decision at a very young age to leave Germany, come to Canada, go play in Prince Albert. Like that'd be kind of a cool story.
So interesting.
Like what it was like getting there. Chris says you could check out the NHL Prime series on Amazon. Yeah, I mean, and those are one thing. They follow them for a little bit. It was intriguing, like behind the scenes looks that we don't usually get. Those HBO had 24/7 leading up to the outdoor games, but like I'm just talking about like a whole show on like someone's career.
I don't want to watch anything about the Pittsburgh Penguins playing the Washington Capitals. I want the Edmonton Oilers. That is it.
Well, then you could do like 5 episodes on the Oilers with all their players. The reason I was watching a episode on Ronnie Lott, San Francisco 49ers safety, and like just kind of the things you learn. I didn't see him play in his prime, obviously. I don't think I saw him play at all, but I didn't know he started as a corner and then just made the switch. And then the story of his finger, how he got it amputated just so you could get back on the field faster.
You know who would be a really cool bio? Be Dr. Randy Gregg.
Yeah.
Think about taking your medical license exams during the Stanley Cup. Like, what on earth? That's never been done before or since.
His story about how he was like recruited to like, he was playing in China. He was on the national team. Came back to
Dr. Gregg?
Yeah. Well, we had him on. It's great stories. Like his first game, I think, was in the playoffs and he was replacing Paul Coffey.
And they recruited him from China?
Well, he was playing on the international, like playing for Team Canada.
Oh,
yeah. I think that's what it was. And then like, yeah, being in the penalty box for the Miracle in Manchester. And like you said, being a doctor, like a business owner in Edmonton now. Like,
super stud to be a doctor while you're in the NHL.
It's ridiculous. Yeah, let me stitch this guy up. He trusts me more.
And like apparently all the Oilers are going the planes after, and this is when they're still flying commercial. And Dr. Gregg had like his medical textbooks out, and he was studying on the plane. Like that's so impressive. The least we can do is give him a 6-minute bio.
Yeah, well, and maybe a 3-part series.
Unreal.
Jim says you could do your entire show and podcast in reverse.
If you insist.
Yeah, we'll see how the numbers do. Oddball says Tater's a deadite. Call Ash from the Evil Dead. Does that land for anyone?
I don't know. Declan?
Evil Dead? No?
Oh, that's what you guys say. Yeah, no, I like Evil Dead a lot.
Call Ash because he's the dead.
Yeah, Ash was the main character.
Is that a movie or a game or a song?
It's a horror movie from 1981.
Good movie.
Evil Dead 2, a little bit more popular, was from 1987.
Now, Declan, how
the third one called Army of Darkness from 1992, where Ash has a chainsaw on his arm.
How can you know these dates? Because you're not looking at your computer screen and reading them off. Those are coming from somewhere in your brain cavity.
I really like horror movies. I have a collection of 4 DVDs. Yeah.
I did
learn a little more.
When we talk like Halloween, like that's who I asked. Like, Declan, what should I watch tonight? He's like an encyclopedia.
We learn a little bit more every day about our Declan, don't we?
We do. Jumpin' Jack Flash. Hey guys, dying over here on Camp Tate's ending. For whatever reason, it reminds me right away of the famous movie with Peter Sellers called The Party in 1968. Sounded like Birdie Num Num into a live mic at the party, just like in the movie. A reference I don't get, but Fenwick's nodding along, so it makes sense. We'll take a break here. When we come back, we'll talk some CFL football and NFL football with Dave Naylor from TSN. It is the Jason Gregor Show here on Sports 1440 and streaming on Oilers Nation, Facebook, YouTube, and X. Brought to you by PlayAlberta.ca.
Electrical Solar Team is now making a play for sustainability and savings. They're specialists in powering up for a greener future.
That's the strategy, designing and installing high-efficiency solar panels. They're helping homes and businesses combat rising utility costs by harnessing the power of the sun.
A smart move for efficiency and the environment. Hire the Action Electrical team to bring home a win for your project. Visit actionelectrical.net.
Legacy Heating and Cooling is your supplier of maximum comfort, bringing you the cool AC you need. You just have to
call Legacy. Call Legacy.
For comfort at night when the hot air suffocates you.
Call Legacy. Call Legacy.
For comfort in your wallet with no payments or interest for 1 year.
Call Legacy. Call Legacy.
You deserve comfort. Cool off today with AC from Legacy Heating and Cooling.
Listen up, because you're not going to want to miss this. Right now is your chance to get in on Play Alberta's biggest offer ever. New players can get up to a $1,000 casino bonus when they sign up. There's never been a better time to join the fun. Visit playalberta.ca today to get started with casino, sports, and lottery all in one app. Must be 18 plus to play. Remember, if you gamble, use your game sense.
The job isn't done until the last load is hauled, and having a semi-trailer out of commission is not an option. Whether replacing or adding to your convoy, Edmonton Trailer has a huge inventory of new and used semi-trailers, trusted by the gravel, logging, oil field, fluids, and freight industries. Find a trailer right for you online or at one of their 3 locations. For sales, service, parts, rental, and finance, when you're in it for the long haul, Edmonton Trailer.
The 8th Annual Oilers Nation Open tees off Friday, August 29th at 9 a.m. A Texas scramble with fellow golfers, sports fans, and maybe even a few local personalities. Great shots, cold drinks, and a great cause. Gregor's Grads. Sign up at nationgear.ca.
McDonald's sundaes and snack-size shakes are $2, or get $1 cones exclusively on the McDonald's app. With those prices, your hands are going to be full of treats. Like Alex here. My phone. I got you. App download and registration required. At participating McDonald's in Canada. Taxes extra. Prices exclude delivery.
Is your company drowning in paperwork and administrative tasks? Do you need more data to make better decisions? Nectar.io is your company's all-in-one solution for fleet and materials management, safety, time cards, and GIS-based project management. Now is the time to capture and transform field, site, and shop data into boardroom-level business intelligence, all with one login. Visit Nectar.io to book a demo today. Nectar.io, your business made better.
Listen up, because you're not going to want to miss this. Right now is your chance to get in on Play Alberta's biggest offer ever. For a limited time only, new players can get up to a $1,000 casino bonus when they sign up. There's never been a better time to join the fun. Visit playalberta.ca today to get started with casino, sports, and lottery all in one app. Must be 18 plus to play. Remember, if you gamble, use your game sense.
Portions of this hour brought to you by Culligan. For all your residential water needs, your local water treatment company. More than just big bottles, Culligan.com.
From puck drop to kickoff, it's the Jason Gregor Show on Sports 1440.
Presented by playalberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
Jason Gregor Show here on Sports 1440, streaming on Oilers Nation Facebook, YouTube, and X. Connor Halley, Wanye Gretz. We got Declan Kruger and Josh Fenwick here as well. The Jason Gregor Show brought to you by playalberta.ca. Tomorrow night's Lotto Max, an estimated $25 million. Go check it out, playalberta.ca. You can also join the conversation, 1-833-401-1440. Right now, we're going to get to our big guest of the day, brought to you by Silent Rides Charter Company. Silent Rides is one of Alberta's premier bus charter companies with state-of-the-art motor coaches, safely taking your team or group to their next destination. Visit silentrides.ca for more information. We bring TSN football insider Dave Naylor into the show. Dave, good afternoon. How are things going today?
Very well, very well. It's a bit of a respite in the CFL schedule as we move to the Labor Day calendar, but some great games over the weekend.
Absolutely. And of course, we got to start off with the Green and Gold picking up their third straight win over the Ottawa Redblacks on Friday night. And it really seems like things are starting to come together. Is this kind of the season you had expected for the Edmonton Elks, all things considering, with the new coaching staff, GM, and even team president? I mean, it's really just a whole new look for this organization.
Yeah, I know it's always hard when there's a new administration of a team because they feel like they're starting at 0-0. But when you haven't been in the playoffs for a number of years, you know, the fans feel like you're 4 years into this, right? And of course, you know, there's not actual accountability from the people who run the Elks now for what's come before them. But I think the goal for this season was what I would call traction. You're not just sort of spinning your wheels and turning over the roster and, you know, winning some games and losing some games. It's not so much about the record. It's like, do you see this team developing? Have you identified your core pieces? And are you getting better over the course of the season? And those are the elements that I think have been missing from the previous Elks teams, which is why they're where they've been going into this year with new staff and a lot of turnover player. I think the big decision, which, frankly, they got wrong, was the starting quarterback. And the reason I say frankly is that, I understood what they were trying to do. And it was about giving Trey Ford the runway and seeing if he could be the leader and be the starting quarterback of this team. But for a team that really had to win games, I think it was a hard case to make that the guy who led his team to a Grey Cup victory and a first-place finish in his 2 years in Montreal, and who was the betting favorite to be the most outstanding player in the league until October of last year, should be a backup. And, from what I understand, Cody Fajardo was the better quarterback at training camp. And I understand what they were thinking. And I think it just took, it obviously delayed the progress, certainly of the offense, and really, I think the Elks' development overall. But this is very much the type of season I thought we might see. I don't know if they're a playoff team. I don't think it's, playoffs or bust, even though they haven't been for a few years. I think it's about seeing the growth and the development of the roster and the momentum, and we are seeing that.
Absolutely. And yeah, Cody Fajardo, since he's gotten on the field, just kind of a stabilizing presence, and maybe doesn't rely on the big splash play that Trey Ford had in his time at the starting quarterback. But, we've seen other players start to kind of, gel, the offensive line getting better. I wanted to ask you about Justin Rankin and what you think he's been able to bring to this group.
He's been the everything player, and I think in the CFL, and I think this is true in general in pro football, is that, running backs are not just graded by, the way they can carry the football, whether that's between the tackles or bouncing it outside. So much of the game is about catching the football and being sort of an added weapon in the passing game. And that's something that Justin Rankin has brought. And I think it makes it very hard to defend, because not only do you not know whether the play is going to be built around him, but they can fake it to him, pull it, he can get out into the flat, and the ball still ends up in his hands. Those kinds. So those are the dynamics that have really given Edmonton a two-dimensional offense. And when you combine that with sharp, experienced quarterback play, this offense, it's funny. I'm actually watching the Ottawa-Edmonton game from Friday night right now, because I was on the doubleheader panel on Saturday. So Saturday night, I was buried in my homework instead of watching the Ottawa-Edmonton game. And I'm just watching it right now. And, the first thing that jumps out at me about these teams, I'm sort of midway through the second quarter, is rhythm on offense. Edmonton has it, Ottawa doesn't. And I think it's really important for an offense to be able to establish that early on. And with Cody Fajardo's accuracy, and what Justin Rankin has been given in the versatility of the backfield, they were able to establish that very quickly against Ottawa.
Dave Naylor of TSN joining us here on the Jason Gregor Show. Connor Halley sitting in now. You talk about being on that doubleheader on Saturday. If you liked offense, you got it in that Toronto-BC game. What are your thoughts on the BC Lions? Because we've seen them twice take advantage of the Edmonton Elks, especially in the second half, but really haven't had that success against other teams around the league.
Yeah, they're a hard team to figure out. I would put them as one of the teams in the league that is better than its record. They're 4-6. And, when I was breaking down the metrics of that game, I was just amazed at how consistently excellent the BC Lions offense has been performing this year. And I think, I think that gets masked a little bit by their record, for one. And two, the fact that, Nathan Rourke had the oblique injury and was out and wasn't playing like Nathan Rourke for a while. But going into that game against Toronto, I'll tell you, there were a number of key stats I looked at and thought, man, this one has the potential to be a blowout. 14-3, midway through second quarter, I was like, yeah, it's pretty much the way I imagined it. One of the stats that really jumped out for me when I was breaking it down was the BC Lions went into the week leading the CFL on first down yardage. And the Toronto Argonauts were last in the CFL in giving up first down yardage. And you've probably noticed, you hear offensive coaches and quarterbacks in the CFL always talk about staying out of second and long. Be second and short so it opens up the playbook. And in teams are playing zone defense, you can do the dump pass to get the first down on most plays. It really is such a huge component of successful offense in CFL football. And I said on the panel, I said, BC's first down yardage, I think, would dictate. Of all the things I didn't see, 52 points for the Toronto Argonauts, their biggest regular season output in 24 years. even at halftime, Nick Arbuckle threw one deep pass in the first half. It was a 43-yarder to Jean Brissett. And I thought, okay, BC's got a running game, and they've got a deep passing game, and they have a medium passing game. Toronto has a medium passing game. They don't really have a deep passing game, especially without DeMonte Coxey, I thought, and they didn't have a running game. Well, in the second half, Nick Arbuckle turned into the greatest deep ball thrower in CFL history and kept doing it repeatedly. And the only thing I can use to explain that is in the first half, as I mentioned, he threw one deep pass. Everything else was going shallow and usually to the sidelines. And I don't know if the Lions just got lulled into, that's all they were going to do. But it just looked like Arbuckle was going back to the well with those deep throws in the second half. And, and ultimately what really transpired was what I thought would happen the other way, was that the Lions would score and score and score and score, and the Argos might move the ball and score, but they ultimately just wouldn't be able to keep up with them. Well, I got the can't keep up with them part right. I just got the wrong team that was running away.
And then in the second game of that doubleheader, a very good Rough Riders team goes into Calgary, and Vernon Adams showing what he can do. Turn the ball over a couple times, but throws 3 touchdown passes. Stampeders win 32-15, and now just a game back of top spot against those Riders. When you look at just the power struggle in the Western Conference right now, how close is Calgary to Saskatchewan?
Boy, I'd say I'm really impressed by the Stamps. I mean, I think Saskatchewan's a really good team, and that was a grind. Like that, they had to stay patient and kind of keep the faith as that game wore on. And, I think Calgary's the best team in the division. I think Saskatchewan's very good. I'll be surprised if they don't beat Winnipeg on both ends of the upcoming home and home. But then I say, if the Lions can get it figured out on defense, I mean, they can beat anybody. You've got Edmonton all of a sudden that, has either won its last 3 or before that, nearly beat the Hamilton Tiger Cats other than a Keon Julian Grant drop. So, I mean, they're not far away from being 4 in a row. And then we keep trying to write off Winnipeg. And every time we think that's going to be the case, they get up off the mat. And for the first time all year, Brady Oliveira looks like Brady Oliveira, and their offense looks like Winnipeg's offense. And people start to go, if they can do that the rest of the way, maybe they can climb back into this thing. So, it's funny. You mentioned Vernon Adams and the interceptions, and I made this comment on the post-game hit the other night after the game, is that Vernon Adams has a very rare quality, and that is to play really, really well and win games in games where he has multiple interceptions. I mean, there was a game that he played in Toronto, I'm going to say start of last year or start of the year before, where he came in, threw for 400 and some yards, I think, and threw 5 interceptions. And when you talk about a 5-interception game for a quarterback, you just imagine that being a disaster, right? But other than those 5 throws, Vernon Adams was great. You don't see that very often, that a guy makes 35 throws, 5 of them are interceptions. For the other 30, you're great. Usually if you're throwing 5 interceptions, it's a disaster all over the map. And I commented again the other night, he had a multiple interception game, but he threw 3 touchdowns, and they won the game comfortably. Not every quarterback can do that. He's a bit of a throwback in that way. And look, I think he's been so important to that team. I mean, I just, when I had a conversation with Jalen Philpott in the offseason and asked him about, free agency and considering his options. And, it was all about Vernon Adams, who ended up in Calgary. From the moment he got there, he became kind of the leader of that team, the recruiting coordinator, setting the culture. And what a fortunate, every CFL team in history that has been at the bottom of the cycle and say, all right, we're starting all over here, to have Vernon Adams in his prime, just hanging out there in the markets we go get, that's a luxury that not many teams coming off the bottom of the standings are ever going to be able to embrace.
No, totally with you. And I mean, he's been great. Last year, the start he had at the season was unbelievable, and he's been great for the Stampeders. It's Dave Naylor joining us here on the Jason Gregor Show, taking a look around the CFL, and we head into Labor Day weekend, one of the best times of the CFL season. And, Winnipeg coming off a win, as Saskatchewan off the loss should be fun. Then you got the Hamilton Tiger Cats off the bye week, taking on the Argos, who, like you said, what an offensive performance. And then Mark Killam's return to Calgary. When you look at the storylines heading into Labor Day, what are you watching for?
Boy, there's lots and lots of good ones going into this one, because I'll just give you one sort of quick thought on each maybe. For me, the front end of this Winnipeg-Saskatchewan game is so intriguing because, the Bombers have got, I believe, 4 of their next 5 against Saskatchewan and Hamilton. So the schedule really toughens up for them. We're going to know what Winnipeg is about a month from now or 5 weeks from now. But I think the intrigue really jumps if they beat Saskatchewan on the front end of this thing. And because then they'll be going home with a chance to sweep that series. And that all of a sudden their season looks different. So to me, it's just how aggressive is Winnipeg in that game? And, can they go into it with some momentum in Saskatchewan kind of on their heels? Because if they win the front end of it, I think that could be potentially one of the biggest single victories of the year in terms of changing a team's fortune. In Calgary and Edmonton, I mean, let's not sugarcoat it. It ended badly between Mark Killam and Dave Dickinson. They were together for such a long time. Mark was a staple of his staff, a staple of that sideline. And, I think there was some hard feelings when he got shown the door at the end of last year. And so, he's it's funny. There have been twice we've seen in the last few years in the CFL, guys fired as coordinators and then hired as head coaches immediately. It happened with Jason Moss in Saskatchewan, who was fired as their offensive coordinator, became the head coach in Montreal. Done pretty well since he got there. Mark Killam, of course, dismissed as coordinator. And look, these guys are professionals. It's not going to get personal, but I think on a professional level, there's some hard feelings about the way it ended. So let's see Mark Killam back in facing the guy who frankly was, I don't know how to call him anything else but a mentor. When you coach for somebody from such a young age to the point where you're ready to be a head coach, I don't know how you could be anything else. But that one's really intriguing to me. And I think the Stamps are a great measuring stick for Edmonton. If they can hang with this team, then I think we have to really consider them that, they're competitive for a playoff spot if they can hang with Calgary for 60 minutes coming up this weekend. And Toronto Hamilton, I should get Milt Spiegel to do his Miltradamus thing. What's your over on this one, Mel? What's the point? Because, Toronto's defense, didn't exactly steal the day on Saturday. They were better than BC's defense, and they've been lit up a lot this year. If Nick Arbuckle can keep his rhythm going and Bo Levi Mitchell is firing the ball, I mean, that one just looks to me like a game that could be, in the 30s or 40s for both teams.
Before we let you go, just on the topic of Mark Killam and, the dismissal from the Calgary Stampeders, what was the word on Killam as a potential head coach candidate during the offseason? And because I remember when it was announced, like it seemed like players around the league were just giving really good words and, high praise for Killam as a potential head coach.
Well, let's go back a few years. When Chris Jones got the job as GM and head coach in Edmonton, I believe the runner-up at that time for the GM job was Ted Gavaya, who is now the GM of the Hamilton Tiger Cats. And I believe that if Ted Gavaya had got that job, his head coach would have been Mark Killam. So, he almost ended up being coach of the Elks about 3 years earlier. And people may wonder where this franchise would be if that had transpired. So, I think Mark's name certainly has been in the head coaching cycle since that time. I think one of the things that, and this happens to people sometimes, is you can be doing just as good a job and just as worthy a head coaching candidate, but if the team around you starts to cycle downward, part of hiring the right head coach is getting somebody who can do the job, but there's another element to it that can't be ignored, and sometimes that's selling it to your players, selling it to your fans, selling it to your owner. All of those things sometimes matter, and sometimes it's hard to do that off a team that's been moving in the wrong direction. So I don't necessarily know that Calgary's struggles the last few years delayed Mark Killam's ascension to head coach, but it probably didn't help. And, good for Edmonton. And from what I understand, there wasn't a relationship already in place between Ed Hervey and Mark Killam. It wasn't like, if I go to Edmonton, I know who my head coach. It wasn't one of those. Sometimes it is, right? You have an idea, you have a relationship with a guy, you work with him somewhere, you've got to know him, and if you get an opportunity to hire a head coach, he's going to be your guy. I don't believe that was the case in Edmonton, but certainly you're right. The players around the league, and this is the little different age we live in. You don't hear it anecdotally, you see it right on social media. Them jumping out and really speaking to Mark's defense about what a quality coach he was, and just he's somebody I've got to know over my years covering the league. Somebody I enjoy my conversations with, I've had a lot of respect for. And I'm just very happy to see him enjoy some success early in his head coaching career. I sent him a note after his first win. I said, "You've got a great victory face for TV." And he does.
Yeah,
It does.
absolutely. And Elks fans hoping it continues because right now it's a lot of fun. And like you mentioned, they could have beat Hamilton, and that Saskatchewan game was close as well. So they're playing some good football in the most important time of the year. Hopefully that continues to roll on for the green and gold faithful. Dave, thanks so much for doing this today. Really do appreciate it.
Hey, my pleasure. Always love talking ball.
There you go. Dave Naylor of TSN. Didn't even have time to get into the NFL because he was touring around NFL camps as well. So maybe next time we'll have to take a look at the NFL season with TSN's Dave Naylor. We'll take a break. When we come back, 5 questions. It is the Jason Gregor Show here on Sports 1440, Oilers Nation, Facebook, YouTube, and X. Brought to you by playalberta.ca.
It's the Bricks mattress sale of your dreams. Score dreamy deals like up to 40% off mattresses and queen beds starting at just $269. Get select king mattresses for the price of a queen and select queen mattresses for the price of a twin. Plus, queen platform bases starting at just $299. Score 20% off metal bed frames when you buy any mattress and get free local delivery when you buy any mattress on your Flexity card. Some exclusions apply. See in store for detail. The Brick, saving you more.
McDonald's sundaes and snack size shapes are $2 or get $1 cones exclusively on the McDonald's app. With those prices, your hands are going to be full of treats. Like Alex here. My phone. I got you. App download and registration required. At participating McDonald's in Canada. Taxes extra. Prices exclude delivery. McDonald's sundaes and snack size shapes are $2 or get $1 cones exclusively on the McDonald's app. With those prices, your hands are going to be full of treats. Like Alex here. My phone. I got you. App download and registration required. At participating McDonald's in Canada. Taxes extra. Prices exclude delivery.
It's the Bricks mattress sale of your dreams. Score dreamy deals like up to 40% off mattresses and queen beds starting at just $269. Get select king mattresses for the price of a queen and select queen mattresses for the price of a twin. Plus, queen platform bases starting at just $299. Score 20% off metal bed frames when you buy any mattress and get free local delivery when you buy any mattress on your Flexity card. Some exclusions apply. See in store for detail. The Brick, saving you more.
Catch all the summer sports action right here. Selly's Sports Bar and Lounge. Selly's is where sports fans cheer loud and proud for their favorite teams. There's never a bad seat in the house. Game night food and drink features, tons of screens. Selly's Sports Bar and Lounge at all 3 Century Casino locations: Edmonton, St. Albert, and Century Mile.
Every day is game day at Century Casino.
It's happened again, and construction season is in full swing. Job delayed, money lost, and clients disappointed because your rigging failed and it wasn't inspected. Don't let this happen to you. Have your lifting slings, fittings, hoisting tools, and safety harnesses checked with Titan Supply. Titan Supply offers certified on-site and in-house rigging inspections and service, so they can repair it, replace it, and recertify it. Titan Supply in Edmonton, Grand Prairie, Red Deer, and Calgary, and at titansupply.ca. Lift, dig, haul.
Portions of this hour brought to you by Cantork. What's the best way to beat the tariffs? Buy Canadian. Cantork's products not only made in Canada, but right here in Edmonton. Save money, support Canada at cantork.com.
Hat-tricks, touchdowns, and home runs. Get it all with the Jason Gregor Show on Sports 1440.
Presented by playalberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
It's 447. Welcome back to the Jason Gregor Show here on Sports 1440. Also streaming on Facebook, YouTube, and X. Check out all the Oilers Nation channels. Hit that like button while you're there. Connor Halley, Wanye Gretz, Declan Kruger, and Josh Fenwick with you here at the Sports 1440 studios in West Edmonton Mall. Thank you guys for tuning in. Jason Gregor Show brought to you by playalberta.ca. Tomorrow's Lotto Max an estimated $25 million. You can get your ticket at playalberta.ca. Remember, use your game sense, AB.ca. Right now, we're going to get to 5 questions with Declan Kruger, brought to you by The Brick. You can save up to 40% off select mattresses, plus get a 10% instant credit towards sleep accessories. That's linen, box springs, lifestyle adjustable bases, and bed frames. Plus, make sure You find your perfect fit with the Brick's 180-night mattress satisfaction guaranteed at the Brick.
It's time for 5 questions on the Jason Gregor Show.
Okay, question number 1. Terry McLaurin got paid today, 3 years, $96 million. What do we make of the deal?
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I just think this is something they had to do. He's been a loyal soldier for that team. He's, played with a lot of bad quarterbacks. And I think it's just getting, maybe a little bit of money for what he's done and not what he's going to do. But I don't think he's going to drop off. I think he's still going to be a productive player for the team. I think the one thing as well is that all that money, but when the contract ends, that's when you got to pay Jaden Daniels, right? So you have a lot of money. It's one of the benefits of having a franchise quarterback who's on a rookie deal. So they're going to have to pay him eventually. But that's not going to come till, 4 years down the road after his 5th-year option, which I'm sure they're going to take on. So I think it makes sense. And I think they know, like, this team has not been a good franchise for a while. So when you have a good player like him, a guy who's, respected, well-liked, you got to keep him in house. You got to take care of him. And I think it just sets a good message to the rest of the team. You stay here, you're loyal, you do the right thing, we will reward you. And I think it's just a good move for both sides. Yeah, maybe. I think they're going to be okay with it a little bit more down the road. I don't think Terry McLaurin's going to hear it as much as Hork did, unfortunately.
Question number 2. Pat Steinberg released his midseason awards for the CFL this year. Just to name a few, he has Bo Levi as the MOP, Jalen Hutchins as DPOY, and Nathan Rourke as most valuable Canadian. Where do you come out on these 3 specifically, and would you change anything up?
I don't think so. Like, Bo Levi has been terrific this season when it comes to what he's been able to do for Hamilton Tiger Cats, playing good football. There's been guys, and when it comes to most authentic Canadian, maybe I'd look at like Brady Olivier has been good, but hasn't done it as consistent, missed some games. So all in all, I'm not going to disagree with him too much, Declan. I think he did a pretty good job so far.
I would never disagree with anything. You know how jacked that guy is? He is so muscular.
Is he?
Pat Steinberg?
Now, are you thinking of Pat McAfee?
No, I'm thinking
okay.
of Pat Steinberg
Okay.
down in Calgary, who is an Adonis.
Really?
Yeah.
I thought they called him McLovin.
But he super jacked McLovin.
Is he?
Yeah.
I guess I'm not as familiar with him.
Oh, he's a big gym guy, Pat Steinberg.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
Well, Mr. Steinberg, you nailed it.
Question number 3. The U.S. Open is in full swing. Who is your prediction to win the men's and women's draws?
Nothing controversial here, Declan. I'll go Djokovic for the men, Coco Gauff for the ladies.
Yeah, it's hard to totally disagree with you on that one. Djokovic is just too good. And like, I guess when the event...
Too old, man.
Is he?
Yeah. If he's going to win, though, it's going to be on hard court.
Like, it just feels like these big events, he's just always lingering. He's always going to be around there. You went with Coco Gauff?
Yep.
I saw earlier today Keys was eliminated. Hey, Deck. So was Mboko.
Yeah, and Mboko, after the win at the National Bank Open, goes out in the first round here to Barbara Krejcikova. Tough one.
Mira Andreeva.
I like her game.
5 rank. Got a win tonight over Alicia Parks, the American.
Is that Canadian tennis player that overcame crazy odds playing?
Victoria Mboko?
She lost today.
She lost her first round match.
Straight sets.
Straight sets?
Yeah.
Fell
to the barb.
Come on.
The barb. Question number 4. Javon Leake stood us up on the Elks 101 podcast this morning. Heartbreaking stuff. Was really looking forward to talking to him. Do you guys have a story of being stood up?
After you, sir.
I do find it funny that you're airing the dirty laundry behind the scenes of Javon Leake.
Good stuff.
We talked about it in depth on Elks 101 this morning.
Yeah, when I was a younger lad, I had a date once and I went to go pick her up. And part of the deal was like my sister, her now husband, was in from Australia. And they're like, oh, can you drop us off at White Ave and pick us up? And I said, yeah, of course. So I dropped them off. I said, see you guys in 2 hours? We'll see. They're like, yeah, no rush. We'll just go walk, have some drinks on a patio. And I said, okay, cool. So I drove to this girl's condo apartment complex, whatever it was. And I called her and no answer. Texted her, no answer. And no, I don't know what's happening. So I just eventually kind of gave up on it. But I didn't want to go back to White Ave and tell my sister, like, oh, yeah, I got stood up. So I kind of drove to like the river valley and went down to the river. I just took a walk by myself. Now, went for a date with that girl later on. She fell asleep. So it wasn't like she just no-showed me. But I think that counts, and nothing came of it. But yeah, I have been kind of stood up before.
She fell asleep?
That was what you told me.
I see. Well, I don't know why, Declan, you would ask people questions this painful on 5 questions, but yes, I too have been stood up. The first date I ever went on, I asked a girl out at school that was at the time out of my league,
What
now
grade?
10. She said yes. Coming to this very mall, I might add, to go up and see
Roller rink, I bet.
No, the movies when they had the dragon.
Okay.
And then I told everybody I knew that I had asked this girl out, and she said yes. And then I came to the mall and waited for a date that never occurred, and then had to go back to school and tell everybody I knew that I had been stood up. So yes, it was a really good time.
And
Thank you.
This was before the days of texting, so you had to look them in the eye and tell them.
I would see her in the hallways, Deck, and she would look at the other wall, and I'd be like, man, what happened?
Did she ever tell you why?
We never spoke again.
Wow. And she was hot.
Oh, yeah.
Wow.
Well, if you're going to shoot your shot,
no, you got to.
If you're going to get stood up, it's got to be by one of the goats.
For sure. It's got to be a hottie.
Before we get to 5, Declan, if we had to bare our souls, did you ever get stood up?
Yeah.
I did, yeah. One time.
What happened?
We were going to go on a date. This is actually crazy, Wanye. And you're not going to believe me, but this is actually true. We were supposed to go on a date. I was there. She didn't show up. I was like, okay, whatever. Went and got oodle noodle by myself. Dated in my car. But I actually did end up dating that girl for like a few months afterwards.
What had happened?
She said she fell asleep, but
you know what?
On.
Maybe it was the same girl you boys are
I
dating.
was thinking that when Connor was telling his story, but I did date her I dated this girl for like 5 months or so.
Girls love sleeping. That's one thing I know.
I love sleeping. Now, if she never spoke to me again, like you dated her for 5 months, this girl I went out with a couple times after. So I didn't feel quite as bad.
I think I flew too close to the sun, boys. No, that's what happened to me.
Javon Leake hurt worse than all of this.
Did he fall asleep?
Well, I don't know what the reason is, but it's tough because we can't get players on days they practice, and they generally practice on Mondays. So this was a very fortunate situation. There was no practice today, so I was really looking forward to getting him on, and then we got stood up.
We had that issue with Justin Rankin 2 weeks ago, but then got him on last week, and he was awesome. So,
Justin Rankin, I love talking to Justin Rankin, man. He's a really cool guy.
Good things coming your way.
And question number 5: what is the Mount Rushmore of lifetime stats you would love to know?
Well, my first one would be how many times have I been stood up? The answer is 1.
Yeah, but you could just know that. That can't be that hard to track.
I'd still like to just go on record. It's only been 1. I'd like to know how many Oilers games I've watched over the course of my life.
That's a good one.
Because it's been a lot.
That's a good one.
I would like a ranked list of all the songs I've listened to most in my life year on year.
It's a great pick.
Because House of Pain Jump Around has been a banger since I was in grade 8. I would also like to know how many beers I've drank lifetime.
Yep.
That'd be cool to know. And then like a chart. And then I'd like to know how many spiders I've accidentally eaten while I'm sleeping.
That's a great Mount Rushmore.
I hope
know
it's
it was
0.
one too many. It's a good list, though.
Wow. My Mount Rushmore, what with the stood up thing? It's so painful.
It's like weird things I'd like to know. Like, how many burgers I've had in my life, like that'd be one. I'd also love to know how much money, because my friends and I joked about this, how much money we spent going out and how much that could have like transitioned into buying a house, in like our 20s, because we went out like Friday, Saturday all the time.
Why would you want to buy a house when you can go out?
Well, yeah, you can go drink beer and get hungover. Like that. Yeah, that's another one I'd love to know. Similar to you, like mixing in sports, how many Chargers games have I watched in my life, which I could probably do the math on and find out. And then like something weird, like one time Duke brought it up on Fantasy Frenzy. It was something about like how many people, like if everyone in the world peed in the Grand Canyon, it wouldn't even fill it up. Like how much would it take to fill up the Grand Canyon?
How many peas?
Yeah.
You want me to ask ChatGPT?
Oh yeah, I'll do it.
Let me find out for
As
you.
Declan gives us his, you can look that up.
Yeah, so the first one I'd want to know, pretty obvious one for me. How many people have had a crush on me? I think that'd be a good one.
Well, it would just tell you the number, right?
No, like it's gonna give me the people.
The people, okay.
For sure. This one's like similar to this, like similar to that one, I should say. how many people have seen me at like an airport or like out in public and thought I was hot? Like how many people have been like, oh, that's a hot guy?
Yeah.
Like airports specifically, but like malls as well. This one, I want who I made laugh the hardest, like expressed as like maybe a percentage chart. Like I made Luke laugh the hardest, 40%, clear number one, then all the way down. And then the fourth one, number of serial killers I've walked past.
Ooh, that's interesting.
Yeah.
In Edmonton, though, there's not that many serial killers.
We think.
We'd wonder where all the bodies are, wouldn't we?
Yeah.
I feel like if you walked past one, that'd be a big number.
Here's the answer to your question, Connor. The Grand Canyon, according to ChatGPT, would take 4.17 quadrillion liters to fill it. The average person pees a liter and a half a day. It would require 2.78 quadrillion pees to fill the Grand Canyon in one day.
That's crazy.
It's too much.
Now, you also have to factor in that the ground is going to absorb some, right?
It's 347,000 times more people than exists.
So we'll never do it.
You'll never see your Grand Canyon full of pee.
Big Easy says how many times you've had private time. Greg says how much money I spent on beer. I always wonder how many miles on my truck and where I rank in the human race of all time miles driven.
Whoa.
That's a good one. Like, yeah, like what are you worldwide? Like we had Lars Kallio on the show before, the comedian who's taken his jet up worldwide.
Worldwide?
Well, to Australia, I believe. And like he's driven it like crazy.
How do you get his jet out to Australia?
Boat. He drove it. But I don't know.
He drove it.
Jordan has one I don't want to read on air, but
I thought Skippy's second one was better. How many times you've swum in the ocean and how close you were to a shark, and when you've been in the mountains, how close you've been to a bear. I thought that was great.
Yeah, I don't know. I guess I just missed it. One time in Fairmont, we saw bears. We go looking for golf balls on like mountainside, and we saw bears and like literally just like, nah, not worth it. It's silly. I like when I go in the water, like houseboating, shoe swaps, like the shark one, like how many times like a fish has been near me. I don't like going in like fresh water. I'm a pool guy.
I remember one time going snorkeling as a kid and like a fish swam against me. I was like, that's the end of the ocean for old Wanye.
I'm good.
Back on the boat.
Adam says how much money I spent on cigarettes.
See, I thought about the money one, Connor, like similarly to you with the going out, but don't you kind of not want to know that? Like it would be so jarring. You'd be like, it can't possibly be that much.
I've had so much fun in my life, Declan, that whatever I've spent, the ROI has been positive.
I mean, like I'm at peace with it now. It's just like, damn, that was silly. But we had fun. Sometimes in life, you just don't remember the cost.
I don't
remember
think
the good times.
You should never look back on fun you had as being a waste of money. There'll be plenty of days when you're older and you'll have lots of money that you can't have fun anymore.
Yeah.
You'll have good memories to quasi remember.
I like it. I think it's true. It's like when you go on a good trip. How much was the money? I don't know. Just had a lot of good times. Let's take a break here. When we come back, more good times will ensue as Mark Spectre joins us here on the Jason Gregor Show. Connor Halley, Wanye Gretz, Declan Kruger, and Josh Fenwick with you here. Josh, the professional.
Fully employed Josh Fenwick.
He's got a Sports 1440 email. Hey, ladies. Anyone want to meet a pro? That's Joshua. Let's get to a Sports 1440 update brought to you by 01 Hockeyology. Training that improves your game at 01 Hockeyology. AI-driven treadmills, full ice drills, and data-backed coaching will take your offseason to the next level. Sign up now at 01.ca. That is ZERONE.ca.
This is the Sports 1440 update.
Washington Commanders and wide receiver Terry McLaurin have reached an agreement today on a 3-year contract extension worth $96 million. Las Vegas Raiders starting wide receiver Jacoby Myers, who is entering his final year of the contract, has requested the trade. And the Toronto Argonauts have added safety Shedeur Sanders to their negotiation list one day after he was waived by the Buccaneers. Buccaneers also have cut rookie defensive tackle Desmond Watson. Desmond Watson was on the weight loss program, weighing in at 6'5". Height of 6'5", weighing in at 449 pounds. Bengals and Trey Hendrickson have reached an agreement today on a $14 million raise, boosting his 2025 salary to $30 million. He is still scheduled to become a UFA after this season, and Amari Cooper is returning to the Raiders on a 1-year deal. I'm Declan Kruger. This has been a Sports 1440 update.
Sports 1440 in West Edmonton Mall and Wetaskiwin. CKJR is a Stingray radio station.
the free radio player app and listen wherever you go.
Barbecue lovers, this is the experience you dream of. Smoke, barbecue, and bar. Indulge your barbecue fantasies with fall-off-the-bone ribs, tender pulled pork, smoked chicken wings, and more. Featuring a variety of custom dry rub flavors. The cocktail menu brims with classics and new favorites to discover. For stylish corporate events or an unforgettably tasty night out, Edmonton's home for barbecue is Smoke Barbecue and Bar, downtown across from the Ice District. Smokebar.ca.
From Lloydminster to Lacrete, from Lethbridge to Lake Louise, and everywhere in between in this beautiful province, for almost 40 years, Alberta Dreams has been bringing joy and hope to seriously and chronically ill children. We've brightened the lives of over 1,200 families by giving them precious moments of happiness that create lasting memories beyond their challenging days. Please visit albertadreams.ca today and become part of something truly special for these deserving kids in our province. Alberta Dreams, a child, a wish, a dream come true.
For decades, the pioneer spirit of Alberta has been exemplified in the chuckwagon racing legacy of the Dorchester family. And today, you can experience it every time you hit the links. Dorchester Ranch Golf Course is in top mid-season form. Enjoy the longer days on this historic 18-hole course near Pigeon Lake. Stunning views, reasonably priced, and only 40 minutes from Edmonton on newly paved roads. Play the course built with pioneer spirit and family pride. Dorchester Ranch Golf Course. Book your tee time today at dorchestergolf.ca.
Easy airport parking? Choose Park to Go. Edmonton's top-rated provider on Google. Book self-park or valet and save up to 30% with promo code RADIO. Visit park2go.ca. That's RADIO.
Listen up, because you're not going to want to miss this. Right now is your chance to get in on Play Alberta's biggest offer ever. For a limited time only, new players can get up to a $1,000 casino bonus when they sign up. There's never been a better time to join the fun. Visit playalberta.ca today to get started with casino, sports, and lottery all in one app. Must be 18 plus to play. Remember, if you gamble, use your game sense.
McDonald's sundaes and snack-sized shakes are $2, or get $1 cones exclusively on the McDonald's app. With those prices, your hands are going to be full of treats, like Alex here. My phone. I got you. App download and registration required. At participating McDonald's in Canada. Taxes extra. Prices exclude delivery.
Hey everybody, it's Gene Principe, the Prince of Puns, and I've got something that definitely will float your boat. How would you like to join me and the superstars of hockey on an exotic holiday? Join us on a 7-night cruise through the Mexican Riviera, leaving from LA and including Cabo, Mazatlan, Puerto Vallarta, and more. While we relax and cruise the tropical waters and have some drinks with umbrellas in them, you could attend an intimate meet and greet with legends like Bill Ranford, Jason Strudwick, Kelly Buchberger, Ron Lowe, and more. Don't miss out on every hockey fan's dream cruise, the Edmonton Hockey Legends Cruise. It's going to be one haul of a trip. Prices start at just $23.99, and part of the proceeds support the Ben Stelter Foundation and Kids with Cancer.
Visit cast.tours/Edmonton or call 1-833-347-7678. Call and save $200 when you mention promo code Stingray Radio. Cast Tours, 1-833-347-7678.
Portions of this hour brought to you by Elks Nation, 2 weekly podcasts with Eddie Steele and myself, breaking down the green and gold, the most in-depth Double E football coverage on YouTube and anywhere you get your podcasts.
Sports Radio is back. The Jason Gregor Show on Sports 1440.
Presented by playalberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
So here on Sports 1440, Connor Halley, we got Wanye Gretz with you here, Declan Kruger, and Josh Fenwick. The Jason Gregor Show brought to you by playalberta.ca. Tomorrow's Lotto Max, an estimated $25 million. Get your ticket at playalberta.ca. Shout out to everybody watching on YouTube, Facebook, X. Make sure you hit that like button as well. Still to come on the show, we'll take more of your texts, maybe get into Wanye's world. But right now, it is the Spec Report, brought to you by GS Construction. They are hiring. You can work with a fantastic company that loves to promote from within with great benefits, and they're huge sports fans. Apply at gsconstruction.ca. We bring in Mark Spectre of Rogers Sportsnet. Spec, how you doing today?
Oh, pretty decent, man. What's going on in the sports world today?
Today, well, you know what? Lots of things going on. NFL cuts coming up. We got NBA, NHL probably getting a little bit closer day by day, but I want to start with the CFL. The Edmonton Elks now Spec winners of 3 straight, leading into Labor Day right now. And even those 2 games before with Fajardo under center could have won them. On a scale of 1 to 10, how much do you believe in the green and gold right now?
Well, oh boy. I mean, I believe in them when they're playing against Eastern Conference teams that aren't that good. And I think they're better than those teams at this point, for sure. But it's a whole new ball game here coming up against Calgary back-to-back, right? Calgary is, I mean, if they're not the best team in the league, Saskatchewan is, then they beat Saskatchewan twice already. So you tell me where the Stampeders lie. I think I still come from the show me state. I haven't seen the Elks beat a good team yet this year, like a top team. So until they do, I think we got to wait for them to do it. Is that fair?
I would agree.
Spec, are they a better team than they were last year?
I don't know. I mean, I feel that way. They're certainly better at quarterback. Listen, I don't know where the great Trey Ford experiment's going. If it's over, like, I just don't know. Did they stick with it long enough? Should they never have started it? Like, we can ask all those questions. But right now, Fajardo is a better quarterback than Trey Ford has been at any time in his career. And it starts there, right? Their defense is starting to play as well as they ever played last year, 20 points a game. So that's, they got that going. They got a feature back in Rankin, who's I'm not sure they really had that guy last year. Maybe Kevin Brown was that guy. So I tell you what, they got everything they had a year ago and more. If they're not better, they're certainly not worse, man.
Now, Labor Day coming up. Do you have any favorite Labor Day memories from the Battle of Alberta?
I watched a million, covered a whole bunch. Probably the thing that jumps to my mind in all of them was who would it be? Because Dave Jameson trying to get Ed Hervey off the field after he swung his helmet at I don't know if he swung it at a ref or at a player. I think at a player and almost hit a ref. J-Mo trying to cart him off the field. I remember that pretty well down at Calgary.
I was gonna say that's the one that comes to mind all the time when you're throwing helmets and fighting. Like, that was such a good brawl. For me, I always remember it was a Labor Day rematch, and it was back when they used to give the vouchers to students to go to the Friday night game. Yeah. And we went to that one game, and it felt like had to be 50,000 people there. It was just an absolute unreal atmosphere. I went home and said, okay, I need season tickets. Like, I'm in on this football team. So I'm hoping that, couple of good games, maybe create some new fans. I don't know if they do those ticket vouchers anymore for students, but that was such a good idea back in the day.
They had something there, right? They really, really had something on that Friday night game. They gave away a whole bunch of tickets at schools to kids, right? And then you bring it home. Your parents had to buy tickets to take you. I mean, it's a pretty good strategy. When I was a kid, Connor, you know what they did that with? They did that with the circus. The circus used to come to town, and they'd give us tickets at school, and our parents had to buy their way in to take us there. And you give a kid a ticket to the circus, and what's the parent going to say? I'm not taking you. Like, it's a hell of a marketing strategy. And I think the Elks, there's got to be some version of that could still be alive in 2025. I get it. We move forward. It's not 1980 anymore. But I'll tell you what, a good promotion is a good promotion. I don't care what year it is.
I'm with you. I mean, if in 7 years my guy comes home with a ticket voucher and says, hey, I want to go watch this game, I'm saying, let's go watch it. Let's go get a hot dog, some popcorn, and watch some football. Like, no chance I'm saying no to that. So I'm with you. I think that would be a good one. Just quick question. At the circus, what was your favorite performer?
Oh, man. I always like, whenever you watch the circus on TV and stuff, and on Flintstones, they always had these freak shows. But when you went there, they never had like the half man, half woman, or giant man, or, Elasto man. right? So I was always a little disappointed at the circus. There was just a bunch of clowns and animals and lion tamers. And I was always like, where's the freak show at?
That's when you know you're at a bad circus spec. It's like guy with hair parted the wrong way and a dog.
I know. Oh, man, I don't know. Those are the old days, boy. They haven't had a circus in this town for a long time.
Marketing idea. Freak show. If anybody wants to create some money, take it on.
Yeah,
too.
freak show. Yeah.
We need to see it. Mark Spectre joining us here on the Jason Gregor Show. Connor Halley, Wanye Gretz sitting in for the vacationing Jason. Now, Tyson Barrie today announcing his retirement from the NHL. 822 games. A guy could run a top unit power play for sure in Edmonton for a couple seasons. Spec. Any memories from Tyson Barrie's career?
Yeah, just how slick he was. Like he was, he wasn't like we used to call Sandis Ozolinch an offenseman. But he was just this side of that. He fought offense all the time. He really snapped a pass, like moved a puck and followed the play up ice. I was a fan of that player. I liked him in Colorado. I liked him in Edmonton a lot. I thought he was underrated. I thought when he went to Nashville, I don't know what happened. Why they wouldn't play him. He was in Calgary. He didn't get much love there. I guess that's why you retire, is finally there's just no offers for you. But I will always remember, first of all, a great guy, awesome guy, always known as a really good teammate, like guys in the Oilers to this day, talk with him, invite him to weddings. He's still part of things a little bit. And I'll always remember as a really good player, man, an exciting player, the kind of guy you want to have on your team.
Oh, absolutely. And could lead the league in points, top power play guy. And as you mentioned, I think he was always one of the funnier guys to be around too. So
loose.
Yeah, and good for the room, right? Wishing him the best in retirement and whatever he does next. Now, Travis Yost, we've talked about it a little bit on this show, releasing his tiers when it comes to positional groups around the NHL. He did his center group, and no surprise, the Oilers tier 1 with the Avs, Stars, Panthers, Lightning, Leafs, and Vegas Golden Knights. Any of those center groups stand out to you as maybe a reach there by Mr. Yost?
Ooh, let's think that through. Give me him again. Oilers and Avs, no. Dallas, no.
Panthers,
Vegas.
Lightning, Leafs, Vegas.
Yeah, Leafs have two good centermen. I don't know what would that be? Matthews, Tavares. No, I don't quibble with a lot of those, to be honest. I'd seldom agree with stuff that Yost writes, which makes him a good writer because he keeps me on, one side or the other, which I admire. But no, I have a hard time. Listen, when your top two centers are Draisaitl, McDavid and Draisaitl, there's no team in the league is going to be better at center than you are. If they want to use Nugent Hopkins as a third line center, that's pretty strong down the middle. So I would tell you that the Oilers have the best center group in the league. And after that, there's a whole bunch of teams tied for second, isn't there?
Yeah, I would totally agree. When the Oilers roll out that 1-2 punch, certainly is tough to top. Now, here's a question for you. Ryan Nugent-Hopkins, he's about 748 career points in his career. So to get to 1,000, he'd need to average just over 50 for the next 5 seasons. Do you think he gets there? Because he's 32 years old right now. He'd be like 37 at that point. Will he become a 1,000-point player?
I think he will. I think he'll have a bounce back year this year. I think he's got a couple of 70-point years in him, which means he can finish off with a couple of 35s. I think he'll get there before his career is over. First of all, he'll play a long time. There's no reason for him to, I'm knocking wood here. His health has been good. I don't see why he'd have to retire early for any reason. He's a really good, useful player. He'll fall down your lineup. Of course he will. But he'll play long enough and be productive enough. I say he'll get to 1,000 points. What do you think?
I'm with you. And like you said it, I said it earlier on, like I think 50 points, if that's the average, there's going to be a couple seasons where he eclipses that, maybe 60, 65 points. All of a sudden that sets you up. And I just don't think his skill set's going to deteriorate. Like he's not relying on his physical ability as much as some other players. I think the skill set will remain, and the longevity, I feel like he can play for a little bit longer here. So I'm with you. I think he will get to 1,000 points on the career. We're joined by Mark Spectre here on the Jason Gregor Show. Now, just quickly before we get to it, just sticking with Nuge, do you expect him to play that third line center this season for the majority, or is he going to be a top 6 winger?
That's going to have a lot to do with whether or not he gets to 1,000. If he sticks on McDavid's wing for the next 5 years, then there's no question, right? There's a ton of points there. I do think, because I really don't see I'm not sure if I see a situation yet where there's a left winger that's going to take his job. I mean, Ike Howard's not walking in the door and taking his job. I'll say to you this, the time you might ask that question, like Adam Henrique's got another year left on his deal. And then there's a very good chance that Adam Henrique will play his last season as an Oiler. And then the option might exist to say, hey, why don't we make Nuge our third line center here and go into the free agent market and find a left winger instead of trying to find a center, which is a little easier. So that's, I don't think it happens this year, but I'm not telling you that it won't happen at some point in his career where he falls down to the third line, center line, and adopts that role. But I think that's something he could do.
And before we let you go here, just ask you a little question about the Toronto Blue Jays as they're kicking off a series against the Minnesota Twins. I think Gregor's actually in Toronto taking this one in. What did you think? Sorry?
He is, eh? That's
Yeah. He's out there watching this one with taking the family out there for that. So very cool. Kind of envious of him, to be honest with you. Going to the Hockey Hall of Fame as well, which is unbelievable. But thoughts on Bieber and the debut in the Blues uniform on Friday night?
Oh, man. You know what? If that's what the Blue Jays acquired at the trade deadline, oh boy, what a great trade. They gave up a prospect, but I mean, he threw 2-hit ball in his first big league game in 2 years. He looks very composed. He obviously looks healthy. And I mean, if you're injecting, they got a killer starting rotation. And we've only seen this guy pitch one game, Connor, but he walks in the door here as the top, first, second, or third best guy already. So, oh my goodness, if it pans out the way it started, that's this is the guy you might end up putting on the hill in a World Series game or an elimination game or something. So, oh yeah, absolutely great trade. If it keeps going the way it went in start one, 5 stars, man.
And Vlad back in the lineup was kind of pinch hit over the weekend today. He's in the lineup as they take on the Twins. Scoreless early on. Lots of baseball to be played. Well, Spec, thanks for doing this today. We'll talk to you tomorrow.
All right, boys. Have a great night.
You as well. That is Mark Spectre of Rogers Sportsnet. Join us on the Jason Gregor Show every day, brought to you by GS Construction. A lot of texts rolling in here as well. Talking about the circus. The motorcycles in the dome. Those are pretty cool. Evan said, I went to a freaky circus in Sherwood Park a couple months ago. Paranormal Cirque. 18+ show for a good reason. Awesome fun.
That's not what freaky means in 2025, by the way.
Freaky circus.
I thought it was something spicy.
Did you look it up?
Nope.
If you had to work, I've asked this question before. If you had to work in the circus,
oh yeah,
what are you doing? Are you the guy on the motorcycle or what?
World's strongest man.
Well,
this is a wish situation where I get to work at the circus.
So you're just shredded.
I'm the world's strongest man. I'm hitting that thing and ringing that bell whenever I feel like it.
Are you taking roids?
No, I'm natural.
Natural, okay.
Yeah.
I don't want to be shot out of the cannon.
It's pretty sweet.
Or, what's the one? Trapeze?
They used to have the bearded lady. I'd be the less impressive bearded man.
Bearded man.
Hey, what's up?
We said it's a circus, not a good one. Just the bearded man.
There are still circuses coming to town, by the way. I went to one.
It's like right across from the mall, isn't it?
I went to one in the Northlands parking lot.
I don't think I've ever been.
I was there as children. So I thought it was stupid. They thought it was amazing.
Was there a lion?
No, it was like a poodle with a hat on. There were no crazy animals, but there was a lot of motorcycle tricks and acrobats, and it was just pretty cool.
Yeah. I mean, it seems like good fun. I'd like to go to one, but like Spec, I want it to be good. I don't necessarily need a freak show, but like a lion tamer, guys being shot out of cannons, trapeze artists. I think that'd be fun.
Super cool.
Not Fred says they still have the promotion for Labor Day rematch, but they don't give out the vouchers anymore. It's online. Need a code. Okay. Well, that's something. It's a little less convenient. I remember seeing that stack of vouchers at the teacher's desk. Run home. We got to go to this game. Only went a couple times, but when I went when I was a little older, immediate season ticket holder.
It was a formative part of my childhood going to the Eskimos game as a kid.
Yeah.
It was one of the first things I ever did on my own.
Oh, did you go with your family as well?
No, I went with little kids from school.
Oh, okay.
And my parents dropped us off and wow, we can get our own food. It was a really awesome experience beyond the world of football. It was a coming of age moment.
Oh, big time. Go, yeah. Running around the concourse with your friends. Get like $10 to go buy snacks.
That's all you needed.
Now you need a little more.
100.
That's how the world goes. Everything's more expensive.
Wait till your son wants to go to an Elks game. My pop will be $43.
I'll get him a pop from the press box, sneaking it out. Here's your can of Coke. Coach, I'll say a circus in Edmonton, White Ave. There's things on White Ave that could be considered a circus. I don't know. Did the kids go to White Ave still?
Sure.
Yeah, White Ave's cool.
Let's ask resident kid, Josh.
He nods.
He's nodding. Good. Yeah. All right now.
Declan, you go to White Ave? He shakes his head. I feel like White Ave took like a little lull.
When Declan likes to socialize, he's one of 15 people on Horizon Worlds, the Meta AI AR platform.
One of 15. Elite.
I would never do that.
You'd never go on Horizon World?
No.
Okay.
I like my interactions to be in the real world.
Oh, okay.
Kevin said knothole kid. Were you a knothole kid?
No.
I didn't get to go to that either. I went with like my parents, and then like the neighborhood kids would come sometimes.
Oh.
It was fun. Honest Joe says, I don't believe they have wild animals at circuses anymore. Animal rights thing. Yeah. I mean, I got a membership at the zoo.
Flex.
No big deal.
Valley Zoo?
Yeah.
Wow.
Only been once though. I got to go 2 more times to make it worth it.
You got it.
But I have yet to see Lucy. I've only seen the red panda's tail. Tiger, yet to be seen.
I took Wanye Jr. to the zoo in about 2023. We saw nothing. There was no animals available. Like we were in the zoo, but they were all being trained or fed or sleeping. And then we saw a groundhog just running around and he was enthralled. So
I saw the camels. The fun thing about taking Benny is he does not care.
Exactly.
It's just a walk. We're just like getting our steps in and we go. But yeah, Valley Zoo's sick. Cool animals.
Beautiful construction. Like the buildings have been redone. It's in great shape.
Good food and ice cream and stuff.
Really?
Yeah. I think they do like a booze at the zoo or something too. But we don't take Benny to that.
Why, you can't hold his liquor?
Can't hold his brown.
Ah, kids.
We'll take a break here. When we come back, more text 1-833-401-1440. It's the Jason Gregor Show here on Sports 1440, Oilers Nation, Facebook, YouTube, and X streaming. Brought to you by PlayAlberta.ca.
Reports suggest that Canadian taste buds are bored to tears.
My mouth can't handle another dull drink.
Summertime smoothie experts everywhere are recommending a watermelon wake-up from Booster Juice.
It's so smooth, cool, and refreshing.
And ridiculously delicious. Enjoy the Watermelon Wave and Watermelon Explosion smoothies, available all summer long at a Booster Juice near you. Stay cool, Canada.
Booster Juice, Canadian-born, blending since 1999.
Silent Ice Sports and Entertainment is an innovative market leader across Western Canada with sports and entertainment properties, including the Spruce Grove Saints, the Junior Prospects Hockey League, Silent Rides Charter Company, the Hockey Super League, and the newly launched Female Super League. Silent Ice also owns the Western Hockey League's Seattle Thunderbirds and operates the Morinville AAA Arena. The Silent Ice Center, a new state-of-the-art entertainment facility, is open in Nisku, which features 2 sheets of ice, including a 1,600-seat arena and a restaurant with a viewing area.
The job isn't done until the last load is hauled, and having a semi-trailer out of commission is not an option. Whether replacing or adding to your convoy, Edmonton Trailer has a huge inventory of new and used semi-trailers, trusted by the gravel, logging, oil field, fluids, and freight industries. Find a trailer right for you online or at one of their 3 locations. For sales, service, parts, rental, and finance, when you're in it for the long haul, Edmonton Trailer.
It's the Bricks mattress sale of your dreams. Score dreamy deals like up to 40% off mattresses and queen beds starting at just $269. Get select king mattresses for the price of a queen and select queen mattresses for the price of a twin. Plus, queen platform bases start at just $299. Score 20% off metal bed frames when you buy any mattress. And get free local delivery when you buy any mattress on your Flexity card. Some exclusions apply. See in-store for details. The Brick, saving you more.
Is your company drowning in paperwork and administrative tasks? Do you need more data to make better decisions? Nectar.io is your company's all-in-one solution for fleet and materials management, safety, time cards, and GIS-based project management. Now is the time to capture and transform field, site, and shop data into boardroom-level business intelligence, all with one login. Visit nectar.io to book a demo today. Nectar.io, your business made better.
Diablo Boots sells only Canadian-made work and biker boots made by Canada West. No American or boots made in China, so no tariffs. All of Diablo's boots have replaceable soles and heels for longer life. Sizes 6 to 14 triple E. Buy quality, buy Canadian. And support Canada West and Diablo, the two best names in the boot business. So save on boots by Save On Foods. That's Diablo Boots, 3340 Gateway Boulevard on the east side of Save On Foods. Buy Canadian. They're terrific.
Hey, Gary, is that your dad?
No, this is Evan, the new sales rep I hired.
Oh.
First impressions matter, but when hair loss takes over, it can feel like you're not being seen for the maverick you truly are. Hi, I'm Dr. Vance Elliott. At Advanced Hair and Skin Surgery, we know that hair loss is more than just a cosmetic issue. It's personal. Let's discuss all the cutting-edge options available so you can make a great impression every time.
Book a free consultation today at drvanceelliott.com.
Portions of this hour brought to you by Cattail Crossing. Early risers, this one's for you. Tee off bright and early and enjoy breakfast on us. Only $55 with Rise and Dine. Book at cattailcrossing.ca.
Hat tricks, touchdowns, and home runs. Get it all with the Jason Gregor Show on Sports 1440.
Presented by playalberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
Sports 1440, Connor Halley, Wanye Gretz, got Declan Kruger, Josh Fenwick with you here. The Jason Gregor Show brought to you by playalberta.ca. You can text us 1-833-401-1440. Skibby said, "Do you hear about the zoo in Germany? They did a bunch of calling on baboons and fed it to the other predators in the zoo. True story." I did not know that. Some news out of the NFL. The Vegas Raiders signing Amari Cooper to a one-year contract. Amari Cooper, 31 years old, obviously spent last year partly with the Buffalo Bills, also with Cleveland. A guy who I think that's a good move for the Vegas Raiders. Probably need a little bit more depth at the receiver position. We had reports today that Jacoby Myers had requested a trade out of Vegas, wants an extension, had been their number one receiver. Obviously, we know that Brock Bowers probably the top target for Geno Smith this year, but wanted a potential trade. Well, the team goes out there and brings in Amari Cooper on a one-year deal. So good for Cooper, returning to the team that selected him in the first round back in 2015. His first, 3 of the first 4 years, 1,000-yard guy, went on to have a couple good seasons with the Dallas Cowboys and the Cleveland Browns. I think a guy who runs great routes, creates separation that way. Him being 31 years old doesn't worry me too much. And on a one-year deal, I think that's probably a pretty good move for the Raiders. So, Lance, I know you're probably on pins and needles for what the Raiders might do. I think that's a pretty good move for them. And we'll see how he does. Obviously, probably not quite in game shape. Hasn't laced him up in camp yet. But for a guy that some people were really curious about where he would end up, I think that's actually a really good spot and a good move for the Raiders. Pair him up with Myers, also Brock Bowers. Good setup there, Wanye. I don't know if you have any more things to add to that one.
Not much.
Not too much. Big news of the day in the NFL, of course, was the Terry McLaurin contract extension, keeping him with the Commanders for a little bit longer. And also, very good news for the Cincinnati Bengals and their fans. Trey Hendrickson gets a pay bump to get him off the schneid, get him into the lineup. He was doing a hold in. He gets a $14 million raise for his 2025 salary, which boosted up to $30 million. Also includes $1 million incentive if he collects 60% of the plays and the Bengals make the playoffs. He will then become an unrestricted free agent at the end of this season. So you know what? It took a little bit longer, but I will say, I think for the Cincinnati Bengals, this is a good move. Keeps one of their guys happy. They need him. We know all season long last year, their defense was a problem. It can't get worse. So get him back out there and then keeps him happy. Bit of a payday. And then next offseason, he can go out there and try to get that long-term deal. And if he has success, play 60% of the snaps and they make the playoffs, he gets a little more money and more incentive, I would think, for other teams to potentially take a look at him. He'll be 32, I believe, next year. 31, so not bad, but he had a lot of production last year. So I like that. I like when teams actually handle their business properly. It could have been done earlier, but better late than never. And for him, he doesn't have to do any training camp drills.
That's a nice touch.
That is a nice touch. The Dallas Cowboys haven't done the same with Micah Parsons. We're still waiting to see what's going to happen with that. I saw during their final preseason game on you, he was the only player not in a jersey. Oof. He wants to get paid. He's one of the best at his position, and he was kind of laying sideways on a training table. And one of the headlines was Coach Schottenheimer to talk to Micah Parsons about laying on the table. How about you talk to him about getting him a contract? Pay him. Keep him in Dallas, potentially.
This seems like the least of our problems.
You're a pretty savvy business guy.
Go on.
When you're in let's just say hypothetically, let's take it out of sports, in sales. I'm the best salesman. I'm under contract for one more year. Pretty much in my prime. Top 3 in the world at what I do. Do you just kind of say, you know what? I'm just going to pay you? Or do you make the negotiation really long and painful?
I don't know, man. I think sports is different because everyone's window is so small. I don't think in private enterprise you really have accounting firms rating each other for accountants and stuff like that, right? I think as a player, you have to get your money.
Absolutely.
Right? Regardless of sport, regardless of loyalty. I don't think teams should be trying to withhold money from their players. I don't think that's a valid strategy because word gets out among players that certain teams are harder to deal with. They just won't go there. But I would think with a guy like Parsons, you should be paying him.
Yeah. I mean, he's one of the best in the world at what he does.
Yeah.
And it's not a good look. I just think that people have long memories and they remember this. And if you're someone who, as a free agent, potentially after a certain age was like, I want to sign somewhere. Do I want to go to the Dallas Cowboys? No, because Jerry Jones and his negotiation tactics are terrible. And this isn't the first time it's happened. It's happened with all their big time players. You have a chance, and I firmly believe that when it comes to negotiations in the NFL, I think it's facts. The sooner you sign someone, the better contract you're going to get because the prices are always going up. Last year's price is not this year's price. You get them signed sooner, and it's a good way to get ahead of it. It's not just the NFL. We saw it Leon Draisaitl when he signed his deal with the Oilers originally, $8 million. At the time, people might have said that's crazy. But 2-3 years in, all of a sudden, we have a value contract.
Absolutely.
You reward these guys as soon as you can. If you believe that you drafted properly, you've developed properly, and you believe in this athlete on and off the field, pay them as soon as you can. Because the next year, it's going to go up. And you're seeing it with quarterbacks. We're seeing it with pass rushers. They always reset the market. Get your guy done. And then, you know what? In 3-4 years, maybe they want a new contract, right? They want to get it signed again. But at least you've taken care of it.
It seems to me, as a non-Dallas Cowboys fan, that Jerry Jones is holding his club back.
Mm-hmm.
The only owner GM anyone's ever heard of ever. Do you think that it'd be a good time for Jerry to bring in a pro?
Well, I thought even his son Steven was doing a pretty good job a couple of years ago. You remember when Johnny Manziel was the guy coming out of college, Texas A&M, and a lot of people were like, he's going to Dallas. It's going to be him. And we heard that Steven, his son, was like, we got to start drafting properly. We got to build up the offensive line. Quentin Nelson, he was the Colt. But there was Zach Martin, they drafted the guy out of USC, the tackle. They started to do things kind of the right way and avoid maybe guys who could be distractions or whatever it is. But then with the negotiations with the contract, it seems like that's out the window. Just get ahead of it and pay these guys. And yeah, I would say at a certain point, and I don't think he'll ever go that route, but hiring a professional would be good. He's the only owner/GM that's doing press conferences after games and radio shows the next day. Not every GM does that. Once in a while, they'll probably do a hit, but he's doing it all the time. Airing the dirty laundry and the things you're hearing about, we don't need that agent and stuff. An agent hearing that, especially when Dave Mugoleta, who's as powerful as he is in the NFL, I don't think that was a good move to, kind of slander the name.
So are the Cowboys the most valuable team in the NFL if Jerry Jones isn't the owner?
Probably not. You can respect his business accolade, but the question is management, I think. Because
he said recently, I like the pain of being the GM. Like, oh boy, that's not a guy who's going to retire.
Because if you want to I can respect what he's built, right? That world-class facility. He's done some really good things. Like even remember that reality TV show about getting a chance to try out for the Cowboys? Mm-hmm. I forget who the player was. Good athlete. Like he's done some good things, clearly.
I think as a business person, you have to be realistic of what your skill set is. It's far more likely Jerry Jones can hire a top-rated GM than become one himself. And that goes for a lot of things in business, right? You try to bring in experts to fill the gap. How long has it been since the Cowboys won?
It was early 90s?
90, yeah. 90, well, I mean,
they won with Jimmy Johnson and Barry Switzer, too. Two different head coaches. Had the luxury of having the triplets in Emmitt Smith, Michael Irvin, and Troy Aikman.
Mm-hmm. But they also got those players and paid those players and kept those players.
Yeah, exactly. It's interesting. And I mean, if you were an up-and-coming player in NFL personnel, wouldn't you want to run the Dallas Cowboys? It would be an enticing job. That's America's team. And there'd be a lot of pressure. But if you're the guy that rights the ship and turns it around, man, that's a legacy.
But I think this leads to why there's such a revolving door of coaches and managers in sports, is that there's such a few people globally who are qualified to do this. A lot of people want to do it, but they keep going with known coaches and known GMs switching teams.
Yeah.
Even if they had a bad record at their last team, because it's such a difficult job.
Yeah. I mean, and to me, I always see these guys, assistant GMs, maybe it's just, you don't need to overthink it. Okay. Who is the assistant GM with Kansas City? He's probably learned a few good things about running an organization. The Baltimore Ravens assistant GM. Go hire those guys, right? Go younger. And don't bail on them after 2 years.
There's always somebody smarter than you. And when we go to school, you're not taught, if you're bad at chemistry, go get the smartest kid in your chemistry class, take the test for you. That will lead to suspension. But in the business world, that's how it works.
Yeah.
If you have a deficiency in some part of your company, go and hire an expert to replace you. Jerry, go hire an expert to replace you.
For sure. And maybe bring him in as head of player personnel. Say, you know what? We're grooming you because we want you to take over this spot at some point.
And Jerry Jones can yell at your GM and suggest every single trade and contract and effectively still be GM.
Yeah.
But you need a balance of power, I think.
And I mean, would you just be a figurehead if you got that job? And Jerry's like, no, we're not doing that.
I think a lot of GMs in sports are figureheads for the owners, but they at least have that filter that you can blame the GM, not blame the owner directly.
Yeah.
Jerry Jones takes a lot of abuse from Cowboys fans.
And his hiring, I was really surprised with Brian Schottenheimer. Loved his dad. He's a coach of the Chargers, big fan of the guy. But then Schottenheimer, is he the guy to lead the Dallas Cowboys? His first ever head coaching job? If he is, genius hire, and it'll look great. If not, I don't think it's a guy you're holding on for. If a bigger name pops up, I don't think Jerry has an issue with saying, all right, 1 year didn't work out. We're going to go get Bill Belichick or something.
To me, the Cowboys are like the Maple Leafs of the NFL, right? They have all the resources in the world. It's the number one market. It would be so helpful to the sport if they could get out of their own way and be good, but comically they don't.
Yeah. There's a few parallels. There's the Yankees, but the Yankees won a little more recently. The English national soccer team.
Yep.
There's a few in sports where it's they're the biggest, the most powerful, haven't won, but the fan base always believes.
It's probably a function of the environment they're in that they're like that, right? There's so much pressure on the English soccer team.
Yeah.
Nationally, every single World Cup.
It's coming home.
It's coming home.
Coming home. We'll take actually, before we go to break here, Vitamin J says, guys, check out Landman with Billy Bob Thornton, former guest of the show. Jerry Jones has a great cameo appearance where he talks about how he built his empire and learned how important it is to keep it close with the family. This is not an endorsement of him as the GM or of the Cowboys, but he's clearly holding the team back. Yeah,
You're not wrong.
I mean, it's an interesting one. I want to watch that documentary. I haven't gotten too far into it. The intro was so sick. The music they used.
Nickelback?
No, it was from an old Western, and they introducing all the characters. Something of Gold, I believe. Anyways, it seems like it's going to be a really good show once I get into it. Friday night, I just wasn't in the vibes for it. Ecstasy of Gold. Great song. Anywho, it's going to be a good documentary. And I'd love to see how much he was involved during those 90s Cowboys teams. And then, what has gone wrong? What has changed since then? It's a tough league to win in, obviously. But what's changed? We'll take a break, though. When we come back, more text 1-833-401-1440. We'll wrap up the show. It is the Jason Gregor Show here on Sports 1440. Also streaming on Oilers Nation, Facebook, YouTube, and X. Brought to you by PlayAlberta.ca.
McDonald's Sundaes and snack-size shakes are $2, or get $1 cones exclusively on the McDonald's app. With those prices, your hands are going to be full of treats. Like Alex here. My phone. I got you. App download and registration required. At participating McDonald's in Canada. Taxes extra. Prices exclude delivery.
It's the Bricks mattress sale of your dreams. Score dreamy deals like up to 40% off mattresses and queen beds starting at just $269. Get select king mattresses for the price of a queen and select queen mattresses for the price of a twin. Plus, queen platform bases starting at just $299. Score 20% off metal bed frames when you buy any mattress and get free local delivery when you buy any mattress on your Flexity card. Some exclusions apply. See in-store for detail. The Brick, saving you more.
If you're looking for the ultimate off-road adventure, you'll find it in a Jeep Wrangler. And if you're looking for the ultimate financing deal on a Wrangler, you'll find it at St. Albert Dodge. Right now, St. Albert Dodge is offering 0% financing for up to 72 months OAC on their full selection of 2025 Jeep Wranglers. And it's a great selection. Sport, Willys, Sahara, and Rubicon, plus all the new colors, all on the lot ready to go at 0%. Come see how easy it is to do business at St. Albert Dodge.
The ATB Classic is returning to Northern Bear Golf Club.
An international field of professionals will battle it out on their path towards the PGA Tour.
Advance tickets are $20 or upgrade your access to sit greenside in the Sports 1440 Birdie Bar, presented by Sleeman.
Net proceeds go to Youth on Course to give kids age 6 to 18 access to play golf for just $5.
Come see the future stars of the PGA Tour.
The ATB Classic,
September 11th to 14th.
Get your tickets at atbclassic.com.
Great news! Metal Supermarkets now offers convenient welding services for their customers. Simple Weld, steel, stainless, and aluminum welding. TIG, MIG, and stick are all available. TIG, MIG, and stick. Sounds like my old garage band with their kooky nicknames. Yeah, we were huge in Japan, but never really caught on here. Your loss, Edmonton. Metal Supermarkets, your local convenience stores for... and welding. Southside, West End, metalsupermarkets.com.
Portions of this hour brought to you by On the Rocks. Jump on OTR's party shuttle buses to Elks games and concerts at Commonwealth. To see all upcoming bus events, visit ontherocksyag.com.
Pro sports, local sports, minor leagues, you got it all. It's the Jason Gregor Show on Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
Jason Gregor Show here on Sports 1440, Oilers Nation, Facebook, YouTube, and X. Hit that like button. The show brought to you by PlayAlberta.ca. Tomorrow's Lotto Max, an estimated $25 million. Go get your ticket. Use your GameSense, GameSenseAB.ca. Little Kesha right there. I had a good story about Kesha.
Was she on the show too?
No. That's Billy Bob was pretty cool though. Good get by Brad Slater.
Unreal.
But I was just watching Mr. Ballin. He's a guy on YouTube I follow. And he had a video of saying Kesha, when she was younger, like paid $5 to like sneak into the house of a recording artist, like paid the gardener, got in the front door. It was open. There was an elevator. She took it up, wanted to like drop off her demo. It was Prince's house. Prince didn't call the cops and she left, but he didn't help her. So she made it without his help.
Wow.
So there's your little weird random story.
There you go.
Also some news. Lucas Sachin of the Edmonton Oil Kings announced his commitment to the NCAA Arizona State University when he leaves 2026-2027. So very cool. That'd be a fun place to go play some college hockey. Hey, Arizona State.
Totally.
Attaboy, Lucas. Congratulations on that one. Great show today. If you missed it, you want to go check out the podcast, you can do so wherever you get your podcast from. Google, Spotify. You can also watch it on Oilers Nation YouTube. On the show with Kevin Woodley, talking goaltending around the NHL. Alan Seslowski from Roto World. We looked at fantasy football. We had Rob Collins from Chiefs Kingdom. Cam Tate's 2-minute warning with a weird message at the end. Dave Naylor and Mark Spectre. So a lot of fun tomorrow on the show. We've got Struddy. We'll also be joined by Dave McCarthy and Spec. And I think Terry Ryan, who was at Oasis last night out in Toronto. So maybe get a recap of the concert and how it went. And Wanye, if you're free, you're allowed to join us.
Thanks, buddy. I'll be here. It's amazing Oasis has held it together for this much of the tour. They must need the money.
You think so?
Don't you think?
I don't know.
Those Gallagher boys hate each other.
They do. They do, don't they? They hang well, and you know what? Everyone makes a big deal, but like I think I only know one of their songs. That probably says more about me than them.
Is it Wonderwall?
It is Wonderwall.
Supernova?
Maybe if I heard it. It's too late now. We can't play any more intros. No. I was on the C train for Labor Day once, and we were going to like a bar to drink, and Oasis was in town, and everybody started singing Wonderwall on the train.
What a moment.
Play Wonderwall. Everyone knows it. Yeah. Jays in action tonight. They lead the Twins right now. Spoiler alert, 5-4-3-2-1. 5-0 in the top of the third. The Blue Jays bats on fire. You also got the Phillies on top of the Mets, 1-0 early on in the Rays. How about that? 4-0 lead over the Guardians. Orioles trail the Red Sox 4-3. So Jays 5 games up in the AL East. Looks like it's going to be a pretty good lead for them to hang on to, but plenty of ball to be played. I believe 10 more series left after this one, and then we're right in there to postseason baseball. Do you get into it at all, like the Jays?
Jays, no, but postseason is an interesting time.
Yeah.
I just think that like baseball in the fall, even if you're not a baseball fan, like the World Series, even if you're not, it's like watching the Olympics. It's like watching the World Cup. It's a sporting event of such significance, a World Series game. I think anybody should be able to enjoy it.
It is like, hockey when there's a goal kind of plays lead up to it. It's not even baseball. Like a home run can just change the total reflection of the game. And they just come out of nowhere like, bam, okay, now we got a game. And yeah, I'm like you. When you just throw some playoff baseball and the weather's getting a little colder, it's a nice way to spend a night in the winter or the fall. But yeah, Jay's looking like they got a pretty good team here. Shane Bieber coming over at the trade deadline. Looks good on Friday night. I think they're going to play it smart. I mean, if we saw the handling with Vlad Guerrero Jr. had the hamstring issue, they sat him down. They're not going to risk injury at this point of the season with only a few more games left to go, 10 more series. Should be a fun one. We'll see how it plays out. Of course, we'll keep you guys up to date throughout the whole time here on Sports 1440. Lots of baseball coverage as we get into it. Declan, you asked the question, statistics you'd like to know. One we missed. Jay Rich said, how many brushes with death you've had?
Ooh.
I don't think I've had that. Well, I mean, I guess like if you're in a plane and there's like turbulence and you drop, like we dropped a long ways once, everyone was puking.
Really?
Yeah, it was crazy. We walked out. It was Edmonton to Seattle, and we got off the plane, and there was just barf bags down the aisle. Oh. I didn't even. We were supposed to go to LA. I'm like, can we take a train or rent a car? It was really bad. I got in a car accident once, but they hit my back seat. So I don't think I've had too many brushes with death that I know of.
Have you had some crazy brushes with death?
Nothing that comes to mind.
Wanye?
All right. Well, I've been in car accidents. I went to the
plural?
I went to the U2 concert with my Nation co-founder Jay Downton when we were kids, and he had an accounting test in the morning, and we went to the U2 concert in Calgary. So he wanted to go home that night. Fair enough. He's as sober as a judge. Huge blizzard on the way home, and in Innisfail, which is renowned for bad weather, we flipped my truck end over end many times.
Really?
Yeah. They had to shut the whole highway down because there were so many accidents. A semi-truck jackknifed. It was crazy.
That is a very scary story.
That was
I'm glad you guys walked out.
Hey.
Any bumps or bruises?
No. I was lying down in the passenger seat because I was not sober as a judge. And I was like, I've heard all the music I could hear. And then I went to sleep. My side of the truck, the roof was pushed down probably 3 feet. So had I not been lying flat, your boy wouldn't be here today.
Divine intervention.
Nobody would have invented the name Decade of Darkness. That's about all I have to show for the last however many years it's been.
That's wild.
Yep.
I have we drove to Banff once to go to the beer fest out there, and it was probably similar conditions. I have never been so afraid, and it was like my first trip with my now wife, so I was like trying to play it cool, like, yeah, don't worry, I got this. It's so scary. Just find a hotel.
Highway driving in the winter is quite dangerous.
Mm-hmm.
We take it for granted because we live in Edmonton, but like, I don't know if you're supposed to like be hurtling down the frozen road on a, Wednesday night doing 100 kilometers an hour going to Calgary. Like, I don't know.
I absolutely love my 15-minute commute now.
Yep.
Like, come to the mall. It has it all. And don't go on the highway.
Yeah.
We're going to have to get used to driving in the darkness again. I don't do that very often.
Are you looking forward to the summer ending and the fall beginning?
Yeah, I love it.
Yeah.
I love the winter. So
I did a poll on Oilers Nation the other day. Do you like summer or winter better? And it was 90% like winter better.
Really? Seems high.
Hockey related. People lying on Instagram.
Oilers Nation, of course.
Exactly.
Well, Wanye, thanks for coming in. We'll do it again tomorrow.
Right on, buddy.
Today on the show, in case you missed it, we had Woodley, Alan Seslowski, Rob Collins, Naylor, Spec, and Cam Tate's 2-minute warning. Go check it out if you missed it. Apple, Google, Spotify, wherever you get your podcasts from. We do appreciate it. Also, go check it out on Oilers Nation YouTube. You can go watch it all over again, Facebook as well. So thank you guys for tuning in. Really do appreciate you guys joining us on this show. For Declan, Josh, and Wanye, I'm Connor Halley. We'll be back to do it all again tomorrow. Coming up next, you got Fox Sports Radio. Live local coverage resumes tomorrow morning at 7 a.m. on the Kevin Carius Show. Right now, Sports 1440 update brought to you by PlayAlberta.ca. Right now, tonight, estimated Lotto Max $25 million. Get your ticket, PlayAlberta.ca.
This is the Sports 1440 update.
Scores around the majors right now. So the Blue Jays leading the Twins 5-0 in the bottom of the third. Yankees up on the Nats 2-0 at the same point in the game. Rays up the Guardians 4-0 in the bottom of the fifth. And in the middle of the fifth, the Red Sox lead the Orioles 4-3. In the U.S. Open right now, Casper Ruud up 2-1 on Stephen Hoffman and Gabe Diallo. The Canadian currently tied 5-5 in his first set. In the U.S. Open right now, Carolina Muchova leads Venus Williams 4-3 in their opening set. And it was Canadian Victoria Mboko going home earlier today. A first-round loss to Barbara Krejcikova. Tyson Berry has retired from the NHL after 822 games, and Amari Cooper is returning to the Las Vegas Raiders on a one-year deal. Other sporting news includes the Bengals and Trey Hendrickson reaching an agreement today on a $14 million raise for this year, boosting his 2025 salary to $30 million. He is still scheduled to become a UFA after this season, and the Texans are not activating running back Joe Mixon by the deadline today, making him ineligible to play at least the first 4 games of this season due to an injury. I'm Declan Kruger. This has been a Sports 1440 update.
Sports 1440, a Stingray radio station broadcasting on Treaty 6 territory.
Download the free iHeartRadio app and listen to CKJR.